is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester. Transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Wednesday, February 26, 2025. Police Federation votes to discontinue using members' funds to assist with the legal fees of embattled former Chairman Corporal Rowan James. Yet another man is killed in a fatal confrontation with the police. The father of murder accused, Rashawn Patterson, says the police killed his son in cold blood. In regional news, Mia Motley shuffles her cabinet. In international news, Denmark is banning the use of smartphones in all schools. In sports, Lionel Messi and his Inter Miami are due in Jamaica to face Cavalier in CONCACAF Champions League. And in business, Trump wins again as Ukraine agrees to major minerals deal with the United States. The details after the break.
Calling all coffee lovers, the wait is over. The 8th annual Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival at Hope Gardens on Saturday, March 1, celebrating the world's finest Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. Enjoy thrilling barista, mixologist showdown, interactive cooking and coffee demos, unique coffee-infused products, art and craft, mouth-watering food village, live entertainment, and so much more. 5,000 for adults, 3,000 for children 12 and under. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more details, follow the pages. The Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival is presented by the Ministry of Tourism and Tourism Enhancement Fund partners. See you there.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Nationwide News understands that the Central Committee of the Jamaica Police Federation has voted unanimously to discontinue assisting with the payment of legal fees for their former chairman, Corporal Rowan James, in his battle with the police high command at the Supreme Court. It's understood that the decision means Corporal James will have to spend out of his own pocket to continue to battle for reinstatement as leader of rank-and-file members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It's understood that Corporal James's legal bill is almost $2 million. More in this report from George Davis.
Nationwide News has seen correspondence sent to Federation members by current Chairman Sergeant Arlene McBean. The message is stamped Tuesday, February 25 at 4:30 p.m. In the message, Sergeant McBean says the main decision-making body of the Police Federation, its Central Committee, met on Tuesday to discuss the continuation of legal fees assistance to their firebrand former leader as he battles his bosses in the Police High Command in court. The correspondence says after after discussion, the majority of the quorum at the meeting voted to discontinue the use of Federation money to pay Corporal James's legal fees. Recall that Corporal James was interdicted in July 2023 over his strong criticism of the Police High Command for its poor handling of overtime payments to rank-and-file members of the JCF. By virtue of being interdicted, Corporal James was relieved of all duties in the JCF and ordered to turn in his identification cards and other government property. He was originally docked a quarter of his pay but was successful in having the court reinstate 99% of his salary. The defendants in this case are then Commissioner of Police Anthony Anderson and the JCF Head of Administration Assistant Commissioner Andrew Lewis. The Court of Appeal previously granted ACP Lewis leave to appeal and set aside a stay of interdiction granted to Corporal James by the Supreme Court. In Tuesday's message to Federation members, Sergeant McBean said she was humbly asking for donations from individual members to assist Corporal James with paying his lawyers. She says that legal bill amounted to approximately $2 million. Sergeant McBean noted that Corporal James is due to return to the Supreme Court to continue his legal fight today, Wednesday, February 26. George Davis for Nationwide News.
A man was fatally shot on Tuesday during a confrontation with the police at Dreckett's Place in Tivoli Gardens, Kingston. The dead man is identified as 26-year-old Kamau Dundee of the same address. It's reported that members of the JCF carried out a joint operation with the Jamaica Defence Force in the early hours of the morning. During the operation, Dundee, who was a target of the police, was killed in a confrontation. Commanding officer for the Area 4 Police, ACP Michael Phipps, says 2 firearms and several rounds of ammunition were seized in the operation.
Today's operation was conducted in the Tivoli Gardens area, where a divisional target, Kamau Dundee, otherwise called Stammer, was fatally shot during a confrontation with a team in an area known as Lizard Town. One Springfield 9mm pistol fitted with a magazine and 6 rounds were recovered from him. The operation continued, which led to the recovery of another firearm. This time, a Glock .4 pistol with 2 magazines and some 6 rounds. We believe that these firearms seized are part of the Tivoli Gardens Young Generation Gang arsenal. The now deceased was deemed a member of the Tivoli Gardens Young Generation Gang.
Area 4 consists of Kingston East, Kingston Central, Kingston West, St. Andrews Central, and St. Andrews South. ACP Phipps says the division has a number of active gangs. He's urging residents to cooperate with the police as the joint operational efforts continue across the area.
I want to say too that these operations will continue across all the divisions within Area 4 as we seek to target the wanted persons and other gang members involved in criminality, and who more so at this time are perpetrating murders and shootings. These operations will continue as we seek to restore some calm and normalcy across the Area 4 space. As usual, we seek the cooperation and support of our citizens, and we are asking them to support us in our efforts as we try to make them much, much safer.
ACP Michael Phipps, commanding officer for the Area 4 Police. A man who has identified himself as the father of Rashawn Patterson, the man accused of murdering social media influencer Anika Slickiana Townsend, is alleging that the police killed his son in cold blood. Patterson was shot and killed in an alleged confrontation with lawmen in Dundee, Penn, Hanover on Tuesday. But his father, who declined to give us his name, has a different account of the story.
The man and you push him, man, you push him back, and you go in there and shoot the man, and then you say, I'm going to
so quick.
Yeah, so we say, we never go to the man when the man the police then come and run up. And before the man even wake up and shoot him. And rough him up and down, you know, nobody tell him to do that and say you can't go up there. You can't go in your house.
Speaking with our news center following the incident, the man says something needs to be done about the frequent occurrence of police fatal shootings.
No man, there was something I have to talk about. The people of the country, the law-abiding citizens, will say, have to resolute them or something can't work. By the end of the year, the police killed 20 million and nobody charged, nobody responds. How them mess up that happen? Tell me, them things that cannot happen in the country. You have to have people to stand up, man. A man just come in your house and shoot you and say, it's a shootout. You know how much to say. More woman that tell her.
A man who identified himself as the father of slain accused murderer Rashawn Patterson. The police say Patterson was being sought after intelligence suggested that he and other members of the Blood Gang were planning a series of murders and armed robberies in Hanover and parts of St. James. He was apprehended on February 2, interrogated and released pending further investigations. Patterson had been out on bail for the October 2022 murder of Townsend. A woman has pleaded guilty to the 2017 murder of a Canadian national. 30-year-old Sadine Green of Edgewater Avenue in Portmore appeared in the St. Catharines Circuit Court on Tuesday. Green admitted to killing 82-year-old Fitz Albert Barnes. Barnes' body was found wrapped in a tarpaulin at his home on Yonge Street in Spanish Town on May 24, 2017. A post-mortem revealed he had suffered multiple stab wounds and blunt force trauma to the head. The police say following an extensive investigation by the Spanish Town Criminal Investigations Branch, Green was apprehended in 2018. She is set to return to court for sentencing on April 4, 2025. The St. Andrews South Police have charged a licensed firearm holder in connection with a shooting incident on Monday, February 17. The shooting occurred on the Mandela Highway in the vicinity of 6 Mile Bridge at approximately 11:10 p.m. The man charged is 57-year-old Peter Campbell, a driver employed to Red Stripe and Celebration Brands Limited. He has been charged with wounding with intent and use of a firearm to commit felony. It's understood that Campbell, who was operating a Toyota Coaster bus, was involved in a dispute with a passenger during the journey. The altercation escalated and Campbell discharged his 9mm pistol, injuring the passenger. The injured passenger was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital for treatment. Campbell was formally charged after statements were collected and a question and answer session conducted in the presence of his attorney, King's Counsel Peter Champagny. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the government is assessing the extent to which executive orders issued by the Trump administration in the first few weeks of the U.S. president's tenure could affect Jamaica. The orders include a mandate for mass deportation of illegal immigrants. Dr. Holness says the Jamaican government respects America's sovereignty to execute the mandates.
President Trump was elected on a solid mandate. His agenda was clearly presented to the American people, and the American people have voted. We respect the sovereign determination of all countries, as we would expect them to respect our sovereignty. No doubt, his agenda will change geopolitics and the world as we know it, and some of our Jamaicans overseas may even be dislocated. Nevertheless, as an independent country that is seeking our economic independence, it does mean that we can't find our space in a changing world. So we must always be looking for opportunities, alliances, friendships, and strategic partnerships. And that is what the government of Jamaica will do.
President Donald Trump's executive orders also include directives to shutter the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. The closure has left several social programs run by local NGOs in limbo, but Prime Minister Holness says the changes could bring opportunities for Jamaica.
I'm certain that it is going to be a different world, but it could also be a different world with the opportunities that we need to put ourselves in a position to take advantage of those. We have already started to look at what it could mean for trade, what it could mean for nearshoring opportunities, what it could mean for access to new funding for labor, and maybe the impact on some programs for international aid. But maybe it's time that we look at being able to fund our programs ourselves. It's going to be a different world. There are uncertainties, but we are planning for those, and we are looking forward to take advantage of the opportunities that will also emerge.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. He was speaking on Monday at a forum dedicated to tracing the Jamaica Labour Party's legacy from the time of Sir Alexander Bustamante. The Ministry of Education says it has begun to disburse graduate allowances to teachers. On Monday, the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, demanded the payment of the graduate allowance and a retroactive mileage allowance going as far back as April 2022. According to the JTA, the ministry had agreed to pay the allowance effective April 1, 2024, but later reneged based on a new interpretation of the agreement. In response, the ministry advised that the graduate allowance would be disbursed by this Friday, February 28. But in a subsequent release late Tuesday, the ministry said teachers in Bursa-paid schools in Region 1, 3, and 4 have already received their graduate allowances. It says payments for teachers in all other Bursa-paid schools will be processed today, Wednesday, February 26. Permanent Secretary Dr. Casson Troop says schools in Region 1, 2, and 4 that are paid by the Central Ministry will also receive their graduate allowances today. Dr. Troop adds that the ministry is also on track to have all payments completed by Friday, February 28. The Jamaica Association of Chairmen of Secondary Institutions appears to be throwing support behind the board chairman of St. James High School in the ongoing discord which led to the suspension of classes on Tuesday. The chairman, Christopher McCurdy, and the principal, Joseph Williams, have been locked in a power struggle for several months. Association President Courtney Winter says the situation reveals a lack of proper governance.
If the chairman is saying he cannot justify why some spends are occurring, then to me that is an issue if he can't get responses. So we have to look at what is happening at the school and how the governance is operating. And I think the chairman and the board in their wisdom is just trying to fix up the governance of the school. And based on my limited information, I think there is a governance issue at St. James High.
The situation escalated on Monday with Williams allegedly attempting to block McCurdy from entering the school for a meeting. The school, through the PTA, subsequently advised that the school would be closed until further notice until the issues were resolved. Images on Tuesday showed padlocked gates and debris blocking the roadway leading to the school. Mr. Winter is calling for the Education Act to be modernized to reflect best practice and mitigate the occurrence of similar situations.
The regs of 1980 need to be modernized. The way it is set up, chairmen could easily view themselves as executive chairman because they have to sign every voucher, every expense. They have to technically hire, fire. So it's set up in a way that chairmen are executive. However, in best practice does not allow chairmen to get involved with the day-to-day running of the school. But when the chairman says he has concern about spending, remember there should be a finance committee of the board. The board is responsible for holding the school responsible for their budget. And so if the chairman were to ask questions around spending, then he should demand getting an answer regarding spending.
Courtney Winter, president of the Jamaica Association of Chairmen of Secondary Institutions. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales.
They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
In regional and international news, the Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley has announced a cabinet reshuffle hours after her Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology Minister Marcia Cadell resigned. Jonathan Reid, formerly Chief of Staff of the Prime Minister's office, is replacing Cadell in that portfolio. Dr. Crystal Haynes has agreed to step down as a senator to facilitate Reid's appointment. Kirk Humphrey will take over from Minister of State with a focus on crime prevention, Corey Lane, adding the portfolio to his Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs. Kay McCarney, the former Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, will become the Minister of Economic Affairs and Investment, while Senator Chad Blackman will take her former spot. Sandra Husbands has been named Minister of Training and Tertiary Education. The changes take effect today, Wednesday, February 26. Prime Minister Mottley expressed her confidence in the new appointees and thanked the departing parliamentarians for their service and contributions.
I want to thank the Honourable Corey Lane, the Honourable Marcia Cadell, and indeed Dr. Crystal Haynes for their service to the Government of Barbados and wish them all the very best, and as they continue to work with us in a collegial framework as we go forward in mission transformation and indeed in the building of our resilience at a time that is most difficult for the world. We are facing a number of grave uncertainties, and therefore our ability to stay focused and to get the job done is uppermost in our minds. I want to thank you and look forward to working with all of you as we stay focused on that journey.
Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados. In international, Denmark has announced plans to ban smartphones in schools. The move is based on recommendations from a Youth Wellbeing Commission, which has also proposed raising the minimum age for smartphones use to 13. Denmark's Education Ministry confirmed the government's support for the initiative on Tuesday. It says while the specifics have not yet been finalized, preparations are underway to amend existing legislation to mandate primary and secondary schools to become phone and tablet free. It means almost all children between age 7 and 16 or 17 will be required by law not to bring their phones to school. The Commission argues that gadgets negatively impact children's self-esteem and overall well-being. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
Yo, my boss. Yo, my general. Yo, my king. The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stackerific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, stackify yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King. Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Payroll processing giving you angina? Complete your payroll in just 15 minutes with IcoPay. IcoPay is an efficient payroll software that simplifies payroll processing and returns for businesses of all sizes. Features includes SO1 and SO2 filings, online salary deposits, payslip distribution via email, and many more. It's Jamaica's best-selling payroll solution. Visit IcoPayJA.com for a demo. Follow at IcoPayJA or call or WhatsApp at 876-333-5809.
Time now for your morning sports. Football fans in Jamaica could see the man regarded by many as the greatest footballer of all time, Lionel Messi, in action live next month. Argentina's World Cup winning captain and his Inter Miami team secured a clash with Cavaliers in the second round of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. This after beating Sporting Kansas City 3-1 in the second leg of their first round playoffs in Florida on Tuesday night to advance 4-1 on aggregate. Messi opened the scoring for Inter Miami with his ex-Barcelona teammate Luis Suarez also on the score sheet. Cavalier, who qualified for the Champions Cup by winning the Caribbean title, will travel to Florida for the first leg on March 6 before hosting Inter Miami in the second leg on March 13. Liverpool's run of 5 Premier League games in 15 days concludes with the visit of Newcastle to Anfield on Wednesday. The Reds enter the game on the back of a 2-0 win over champions Manchester City. Newcastle are gunning for a Champions League spot and go into the game on the back of a 4-3 win against Nottingham Forest. The teams meet again in the final of the Carabao Cup next month. In other fixtures, Brentford welcome Everton, Manchester United host Ipswich Town, Nottingham Forest entertain Arsenal, and the Spurs are at home to Manchester City. Defending champions Jamaica take on Guyana in round 2 of the West Indies CG United Women's Super 50 at St. Paul's Sports Complex in Basseterre, St. Kitts today. The Jamaicans will be seeking back-to-back wins while Guyana hunt for their first win of the tournament. Jamaica's captain is Rashada Williams.
This is pretty much the grassroots cricket for female, because we don't have a lot of cricket playing otherwise from regional cricket. So it's really good to have a lot of youngsters coming up. Jamaica, we have quite a few senior players that represented West Indies and still representing West Indies. So it's really good to have them around to mold the young players, pick their brain, ask them questions to see how much they're learning or how much they're willing to learn. And just help to impart knowledge on them. And you also have other senior players from other teams. You can always go to them and ask them questions for their development.
Rashada Williams. Trinidad and Tobago will be in action at Connery against the Leeward Islands, who also will be hoping for their first win, having suffered defeat on the opening day to the Windward Islands. The other second-round game, Barbados and the Windward Islands clash at Warner Park, both looking for their second straight win. Coach of the senior reggae girls, Hubert Busby Jr., says he'll be making several changes to the starting 11 for the second friendly international against hosts Peru later on Wednesday. The Reggae girls won the first match 2-0 on Sunday.
Yes, you can definitely expect to see a lot of changes in the squad and possibly some, tweaks to the way that we play. Formation-wise, we're still going to go that based on the personnel that we want to implement. But again, it's really about giving a lot of these young players an opportunity in terms of what that looks like for international football. I think what we also have to be very cautious of as well is that, you don't throw too many young players in all at once. They need some, as we say, some steady heads around them to kind of get through some of the difficult moments when we are suffering and things aren't going our way. So I think it's important that we have some of those players on the pitch as well.
Hubert Busby. Finally, in your morning sports, St. George's College are the ISA Under-16 Urban Area Schoolboy Basketball Champions. The Light Blues achieved the feat after beating Camperdown 47-46 in Game 2 of their best-of-3 final at the Stadium Courts on Tuesday. St. George's led for the first 3 quarters of the game. Camperdown outscored St. George's 16-9 in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, Game 2 in the Under-19 competition between Campion College and St. Catherine High was called off due to rain, with Campion leading 10-6. Campion lead the series 1-0 following their 50-47 win in Game 1. And that's it for your morning sports.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
In business this morning, Ukraine has agreed the terms of a major minerals deal with the U.S. The BBC says no details have been provided. Media reports say Washington has dropped initial demands for a right to $500 billion in potential revenue from utilizing the natural resources, but has not given firm security guarantees to Ukraine. U.S. President Donald Trump said he was expecting his Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelensky, in Washington to sign the deal this week after the two leaders exchanged strong words about each other. Without confirming that an agreement had been reached, Trump said on Tuesday that in return for the deal, Ukraine would get the right to fight on. British Petroleum, BP, says it will slash its renewable energy investments and instead focus on increasing oil and gas production. The energy giant revealed its shift in strategy on Wednesday, following pressure from some investors unhappy its profits and share price have been much lower than its rivals. BP said it would increase its oil and gas investment by about 20% to $10 billion a year, while decreasing previously planned renewables funding by more than $5 billion. The BBC says the move comes as rivals Shell and Norwegian company Equinor have also scaled back plans to invest in green energy, and U.S. President Donald Trump's drill baby drill comments have encouraged investment in fossil fuels. In foreign exchange trading now, the Jamaican dollar has gained 22 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $157.84 against the benchmark U.S. dollar. The Jamaican dollar has gained $1.16 and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $111.23 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican has lost $2.80 and will open trading today, selling for an average $201.91 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:31.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet you so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak, me not talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
Jamaica, we are on the road to Republic. The Constitution Amendment Republic Act 2024 has been tabled, taking us one step closer to a future with our own Jamaican head of state. Read the bill and track its progress at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm. Your voice matters. Get involved and stay informed. Join the journey and let's walk this road together. The Republic starts with you.
Gnashing of teeth, hey, guide over us. Holy Emmanuel, Isis, and knees could never get weak. I know it is a must for us to make it home. To them, you're gnashing of teeth on it. These are those who constantly they have been placing the rocks on the traps, leaving their snares laying. And then wish for all of them hate to be falling. Yet in them face the witness die uprising. Feeling high, making it onto my way. No apology, fire on them every day. Conspiracy leads the game you play. Now the fall on the knees without my say. Hey, guide over us. Holy Emmanuel, I this a road rugged and steep. I know it is a must for us to make it home. Even through them, you're gnashing up teeth. Young guide over us. Emperor Selassie, Isis and knees could never get weak. I know it is a must for us to make it home. Even through them, you're gnashing up teeth. Them for know I'm from the mountain and the valleys. Oh, just tell me so I run both river banks. Within life, you've got the valleys. Yeah. Here is the
A very good morning to you. Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide This Morning, NTM. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us this Wednesday morning. Happy Hump Day. It is Wednesday, February 26, 2025. I'm Tona Thomas.
Good morning, Tona. Good morning. My name is George.
Good morning to you, George. How are you this morning?
We're good, man. We're good.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Another day, another. What come on? What did they say? Another day, another dollar.
I remember a question being asked in our first quiz. Complete the line. Hello, Miss Jen. Yeah. So.
Oh, you finish that? Hello, Miss Jen. I'm still a thief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Miss Jen. I'm still a thief.
Yeah. Something about committing.
Still you're committing criminal activities.
Right.
For the line.
Yeah. So you have to put some popular culture questions in there.
Yes, it is.
Many of them bowl us, as was the case with the quiz the other day.
You think?
Like, have no clue. It's just like yesterday with Andre Whitaker, aka Squash. And
I was surprised when you asked the question. I
was like, what is his name again? I couldn't remember his stage name. I'm like, I know this guy, but what's his stage name? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Squash. Who's been arrested in Florida in relation to some gun-related charges.
Serious charges.
Yeah.
I want to say good morning to the listeners once again. You realize that this week is, well, if you look in the news, the hot topics, clearly the police fatal killings. Mm-hmm. And, even as we celebrate the work of the police, you have to say to yourself sometimes, yeah, because it's almost like one a day now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you hear people talk about, boy, the police are killing people. We're not firing at them, but that's another conversation for another time. I'm sure you haven't heard the last of JFJ or Indicom. The thing I've been thinking about since last evening, well, for some time now, I know that we track the attendance of our parliamentarians or MPs in the House of Representatives. And I know we track their attendance at committees of the House. I'm looking at the government side with 49 members and the opposition side with 14 members. And I'm asking myself, just by virtue of attending Parliament alone, how much value are we getting for the people that we now pay reasonably well? Not even reasonable. We pay them handsomely now. And of course, these people are free to have their own businesses. Yeah. But just from Parliament, the Parliament perspective alone, how much do we get from them? And does a government with a big majority serve the best interest of people? The people? And what does it mean in real terms to be a member of Parliament? Now, we all know that MPs, a lot of what MPs do is to provide welfare, whether through their office as an MP or directly out of pocket. And many will tell you that, boy, the amount I provide out of my pocket is insane, because everybody comes and a man who votes for you and you know that they voted for you because you take their word. You can't know otherwise, eh?
Yeah, they're primarily seen as benefactors by a large
absolutely
group
right.
of the electorate.
Yes. Is this what we want from our MPs? And somebody may ask early, so George, where are you going with this? Here's where I'm going. There are certain of our legislators who, in this period before the next general election, are in trouble because their substantive duties as cabinet ministers leaves them woefully short of face-to-face time with their constituents. Not just face-to-face time with their constituents, but going through the constituency, finding out firsthand what the issues are, and plotting a way towards a solution with their constituents. It is very unfair for somebody to be running a portfolio like the Ministry of Finance and have a country constituency. Yeah, you can imagine you're an MP for North Trelawney or for Western Hanover. Yeah? Marlene Malahoo Fort, legal and constitutional affairs, whole heap of work. I will cuss every day. Oh, this not happen, not enough consultation and this, that. That's you want her to be on spot to consult every week, every day. What happened to the constituents? I saw a video of her recently in the constituency. Mm-hmm. You were jibing Ricardo.
Yes.
Inside joke, yeah? And I said to myself, but, even before we saw that video, we knew that from what the JLP have said publicly, her seat is under review. Because there is disaffection in the constituency. Because the presence of the MP is not what people believe it ought to be. Now, your constituents want to see you on TV, They want to see you working in your government capacity, in your cabinet capacity, in your executive capacity. But more important than that, they want you to be seen to be doing work for them. So it is a whole, I don't want to say mishmash because that suggests disorganization. But the whole thing about how we are running parliament and running government, and we expect people to have these multiple responsibilities as they did when Jamaica had less than 1 million people. So the same structure we had when we had less than 1 million people, far fewer than 1 million people, and the responsibilities that men and women could carry. We have the same structure in place these days in a very highly demanding time where not only do you have to go to Parliament, If you're one of the active ones, especially if you're a minister, you have to prepare for Parliament. You have joint select committees. You have meetings with stakeholders in the various ministries that you have. You have other consultations with other parties. You have media to give interview to. You have speeches to give. You're invited
You have
to
to
speak
go
at
overseas.
things. You have to travel. All of these things. And yet, you must run a constituency with demanding constituents. And oh, by the way, the one thing I'm not parsing on is the amount of time that constituents reasonably expect their MP should give them. I'm not compromising over that, The constituents should get what they demand because that's what they voted for. And that's what no MP says, listen, if you're going to vote for me because you expect me to attend to your needs all the time, don't bother give me the vote because it's not possible for me to do that. Nobody says that. After them win, they must say, well, you couldn't expect me to be there every time you need something, whatever. I want to say need something. We're not talking about money out of your pocket, but need something that will benefit not just the individual, but the community, the constituency. So I'm saying, again, I go back to a conversation I had about how we go about the business of Parliament and how the system causes the overwhelming majority of our representatives to not have any active role on a day that Parliament is held. And then what is funny, a lot of the people who are either public commentators or who are leading civil society groups or anti-corruption bodies or so forth, they don't understand how Parliament works. I mean, I want to say, but how can you be here and you don't understand how Parliament works? Because in their head, you go to every day you go to Parliament, go pass bill. No, it is so it's so ridiculous. I want to say asinine, but I don't want to be unkind this morning. But no, and every day they pass bill of Parliament. Come on. But I'm just saying, the structure of Parliament does not lend itself to most members having a chance to contribute. The bread and butter issues that if you take a constituent at random and say, do you believe that your MP goes to Parliament to advocate for you and for the things that mean more to you in the constituency? They say yes, because that's what they do. But that's what they don't do. They don't do that. No MP goes and says so and so and so, this, that. No, you hear them voice when they're contributing to a bill that their minister is tabling. Yeah, or they're presenting a private member's motion bill if they're an opposition member. Nothing else. So I'm saying the whole system we have, the system of participation is flawed. It is antiquated. It is way past its sell-by date. It needs to be fixed. This thing of saddling so-and-so individual with this big ministry and then expect that person to, as we say on the streets, to run off the ministry and all of the responsibilities that come with it. And then at the same time, run off a constituency effectively in the way that the people who voted for them expect from them. It is wrong, it is broken, it is antiquated, it needs a refresh. What is the refresh? Well, that's the discussion I want to have. I want to say, all right then, how best can we adopt the best practices? I keep talking about PMQs on a Wednesday in the House of Commons and how that is where you watch to hear your MP talk about bread and butter issues. Mr. Speaker, may I ask of the Prime Minister, what are you doing about the health centers in Catadupa, St. James? I love to say Catadupa, you realize? Mm-hmm. What about the market in Black River? There is not this, that. What is the plan to give more funds to the local authorities? Blah. All of these things, these are bread and butter issues raised there every week, and as many MPs as is possible in the time, the few hours that they have, you get to ask a question, you get to represent, so you can sit down and say, boy, yeah man, I see the MP last week, yeah man, I see when him get up in a Parliament and him ask a question, man, and the Prime Minister answer, and then somebody follow up with the same question in the next constituency, because I thought it was only here that this problem was so and so and so. Our parliamentarians don't get the chance to do that because the structure that we have, it is almost like give the ministers the spotlight. So only ministers star in Parliament, the ones who have bills to table, to pass through to pilot rather through the legislative process, and they select few on their side who support them in the debate. So that is broken. The MP representation system is broken. The ministerial responsibility / dual role of MP, that is broken and needs to be repaired. I can understand a senator having serious ministerial responsibilities because, the constituency to go home to at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So foreign affairs, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith or whomever the senator is, that's a good fit. But some of these responsibilities that we give our members and then expect them then to do magic in the constituency, it just can't work in a modern Jamaican society so demanding and with a public so demanding that if we have our way, our ministers will be at meetings and speaking engagements every waking hour, and yet we still expect the same person to also have a family life. And if their family mash up, we say then careless and hopeless and them not worthy of being minister. So I'm just saying it's just such a broken system. And I fear nobody will fix it because nobody will go into office and see these things as priority. Yeah? Nobody's taking care of a structure that needs revolution so that taxpayers can get more for the money that they pay to our representatives, and that the representatives are given a fairer chance of doing better for us constituents, and we can get more value, more output from those who we assign ministerial responsibilities to. It's a hell of a conversation that I hope that some prime minister, some cabinet will take on seriously and bring us to a point of modernization, because the old time something in our work.
The Ministry of Justice offers free counseling to victims of crime. Call 876-946-0663. The time by the Ministry of Justice is
6:49.
$1 million in an unsecured loan from JPS and Partners could be yours. Conditions apply. The temperature, compliments of JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union. Your financial partner for life is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Interested in buying into a new housing development scheme, hiring a real estate agent, or interested in a profession in real estate? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you need to contact the Real Estate Board. Everyone in the real estate industry, including developers, dealers, and salesmen, must register with the Real Estate Board. Know your facts. Contact us at 926-974829 at 24 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, or visit reb.gov.jm for more information.
And everybody let me hear ya. Me have to ask, why eat other snacks when sunshine has the best for you? Nature's best buns so crunchy. The flavor that sings to you. Salted banana and plantain. Taste the freshness, naturally sweet. The flavor that sings to you.
Ayo, nature's best bunch.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Good morning, George. Morning, Tona.
Hey to you, Ludlow.
All right, listeners, everyone there in the studio, so all our transporters, motoring public, everyone is commuting. Look here, I'll talk quick update. The traffic is there already, but I want to highlight something. Mollines Boulevard intersection, there was an accident this morning, right in the vicinity of Mollines and Boulevard there, and it's a regular situation now. Nobody apparently wants to wait. I'm not sure if it's cleared up now, but if it's not cleared up, it's going to cause some problem, especially if you're coming westbound along Washington Boulevard and even eastbound towards Mollines. So look out for that one. It's not cleared up already. But in the meantime, most areas are enjoying traffic. No, not really enjoying traffic, are experiencing traffic. Boulevard, Mollines, 6 miles, all of these areas, the regular areas, and coming out of Portmore, coming onto Marcus Garvey Drive, and in the 3 miles here, as usual, quite active. Our first report for the morning is back to you, George. George?
Thank you, Ludlow.
George.
What was the question,
I'm hearing you, Ludlow. Go again.
Is it the same thing that obtains in the other parliaments in the Caribbean and the Commonwealth?
Yeah, but everywhere else in the Caribbean is smaller than here. Everywhere else in the Caribbean is tiny compared to us.
I thought of that. so they can maneuver their constituencies.
Yeah.
All right, okay. But what happens in Britain? In London?
In
Downing Street?
In at Downing Street, so I'm saying that they practice something that is in our rules but we don't do, which is the MPs regularly, well, every week you get the chance to raise something about your constituency in the parliament. So if you are the member of parliament for Islington North, which the former Labour Prime Minister, former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn was, you sit down and you watch what Jeremy is going to do on a Wednesday morning, or if you're for North East Somerset or wherever it is. So there's that chance. We don't have that luxury here. We don't do that. Our parliament lazy structure, all time structure.
You know, parliamentary appraisal then, and a constituency appraisal.
There you go. And an overhaul, more than an appraisal.
Overall.
Yeah, man.
Overall, right. That's all right.
Ludlow McLean there with Street Smarts 1. Up next, your word of the day.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Your word of the day is spelled DECORTICATE, spelled DECORTICATE.
Decorticate. Decorticate. Decorticate.
Decorticate is your word of the day. It's a verb and it means to remove the bark, husk, or outer covering from. Decorticate is your word of the day, first recorded between 1605 and 1615. To use it in a sentence, the botanist students learned how to decorticate a tree without damaging layers below the bark. Decorticate is your word of the day. The definition again, to remove the bark, husk, or outer covering from. Up next, your features at the top of the hour, the news.
Though there has been a rise in the market for commercial pet foods, many pet owners are skeptical about feeding this to their dogs or cats. Some owners of these pets home cook meals so they know exactly what goes into their pet's diet. While this is an acceptable way to feed your pet, the reality is some human foods aren't good for a cat or dog to eat. In many Jamaican households, dogs and cats are fed scraps left over from human meals. Some of these foods can be toxic to animals. So before you start scraping your leftovers into your pet's dish, ensure you've considered your pet's dietary needs and which foods are safe or unsafe for your pet to eat. Veterinarian from West Hill Animal Clinic, Dr. Clayton Greenway, says feeding pets human food that is high in fat or protein can sometimes lead to you having a very sick pet.
Human food is very rich. We've got to remember that in a lot of cases our pets are pretty small, so feeding them a small morsel off our plate will actually be quite a lot of food for them, and it could be very high calorie. In fact, a lot of people will feed a piece of meat, and that's high in fat and protein. This can stimulate a real problem in our pets. Most of the time they have a very consistent diet. So if you feed them something that's very high in fat or protein and get a blast of it all at once, the pancreas, which digests those ingredients in that treat, can become inflamed, and that can lead to vomiting and diarrhea and a very sick pet.
Here are a few tips to consider when deciding what to feed your dog or cat. 1. Keep fat in check. It's true that animals need fat to be healthy and strong, but too much fat is never a good thing. Keep things like chicken skin, butter, and other high-fat foods out of your pet's diet. 2. Try to diversify their diet. Try not to feed your pet one kind of food, such as only meat or chicken. Pets like diversity. As best as you possibly can, try to incorporate vegetables into their diet so they can enjoy the benefits of a nutritionally rich diet. 3. Avoid sudden diet changes. Sudden food changes can affect the digestive system of your dog or cat. For example, if you've decided to change from commercial food to human food, start their transition by adding a little bit of bland chicken, meat or vegetables in with your pet's kibble. Then, gradually add a little more people food and a little less kibble each day. Dr. Greenway notes that it's best to go with food that is low in calories.
So if you have to feed them some human food, best to go with something that is low calorie and very healthy, such as chopped up raw vegetables. I see a lot of pets really like that, and that way you're not stimulating some of the problems and contributing to obesity in our pets.
Some human foods that are safe for both dogs and cats to eat include chicken, green beans, broccoli, and oatmeal. A rule of thumb is to feed it to them in moderation, even if you deem a food as safe for your dog or cat to eat. This can help prevent weight gain and other negative health effects. Well, that's it for Pets World. Until next time.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
I remember telling someone how good they looked one day and got a very strange response. I believe it was, "You're just being nice." I guess some people just don't know how to take a compliment. Let's look at how we can accept compliments in a gracious manner without letting them go to our heads. I'm Tana, and it's time for your lifestyle pages. Consider it a gift. When someone compliments you on anything, your looks, what you're wearing, something you've done, or something you've made, say something polite like thank you and move on. Don't argue. Avoid the urge to counter whatever the person said. Arguing creates a scene that is much more awkward than the compliment. Reciprocate. When someone tells you something they like about you, compliment him or her back in a way that relates to what they said. For example, if they say, "You look very nice today," you can reply, "I appreciate such a compliment from someone who is always so well put together." Tell how the compliment made your day. You would be surprised what a far way it can go. Accepting a compliment does not mean you're conceited, so it's okay to smile with a good old-fashioned thank you. I'm Tana. Catch you next time for Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 for today, Wednesday, February 26, 2025, Police Federation votes to discontinue using members' funds to assist with the legal fees of embattled former chairman Corporal Rohan James. Yet another man is killed in a fatal confrontation with the police. The father of murder-accused Rashawn Patterson says the police killed his son in cold blood. And in international news, Denmark is banning the use of smartphones in all schools.
News at 7 is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Nationwide News understands that the Central Committee of the Jamaica Police Federation has voted unanimously to discontinue assisting with the payment of legal fees for their former chairman, Corporal Rohan James, in his battle with the Police High Command at the Supreme Court. It's understood the decision means Corporal James will have to spend out of pocket to continue his battle for reinstatement as leader of rank-and-file members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It's understood that Corporal James's legal bill is almost $2 million.
Nationwide News understands that the Central Committee of the Jamaica Police Federation has voted unanimously to discontinue assisting with the payment of legal fees for their former chairman, Corporal Rohan James, in his battle with the Police High Command at the Supreme Court. It's understood that the decision means Corporal James will have to spend out of his own pocket to continue to battle for reinstatement as leader of rank-and-file members of the Jamaica the constabulary force. It's understood that Corporal James's legal bill is almost $2 million. More in this report from George Davis.
Nationwide News has seen correspondence sent to Federation members by current chairman Sergeant Arlene McBean. The message is stamped Tuesday, February 25 at 4:30 p.m. In the message, Sergeant McBean says the main decision-making body of the Police Federation, its central committee, met on Tuesday to discuss the continuation of legal fees assistance to their firebrand former leader as he battles his bosses in the Police High Command in court. The correspondence says after discussion, the majority of the quorum at the meeting voted to discontinue the use of Federation money to pay Corporal James's legal fees. Recall that Corporal James was interdicted in July 2023 over his strong criticism of the Police High Command for its poor handling of overtime payments to rank-and-file members of the JCF. By virtue of being interdicted, Corporal James was relieved of all duties in the JCF and ordered to turn in his identification cards and other government property. He was originally docked a quarter of his pay but was successful in having the court reinstate 99% of his salary. The defendants in this case are then Commissioner of Police Anthony Anderson and the JCF Head of Administration Assistant Commissioner Andrew Lewis. The Court of Appeal previously granted ACP Lewis leave to appeal and set aside a stay of interdiction granted to Corporal James by the Supreme Court. In Tuesday's message to Federation members, Sergeant McBean said she was humbly asking for donations from individual members to assist Corporal James with paying his lawyers. She says that legal bill amounted to approximately $2 million. Sergeant McBean noted that Corporal James is due to return to the Supreme Court to continue his legal fight today, Wednesday, February 26. George Davis for Nationwide News. A man was fatally shot on Tuesday during a confrontation with the police at Drickett's Place in Tivoli Gardens in West Kingston. The dead man has been identified as 26-year-old Kamau Dudney of the same address. It's reported that members of the JCF carried out a joint operation with members of the Jamaica Defence Force in the early hours of the morning. During the operation, Dudney, who was a target of the police, was killed during a confrontation. The commanding officer for the Area 4 Police, ACP Michael Phipps, says 2 firearms and several rounds of ammunition were seized in the operation.
Today's operation was conducted in the Tivoli Gardens area, where a divisional target, Kamau Dudney, otherwise called Stammer, was fatally shot during a confrontation with a team in an area known as Lizard Town. One Springfield 9mm pistol fitted with a magazine and 6 rounds were recovered from him. The operation continued, which led to the recovery of another firearm. This time, a Glock .4 pistol with 2 magazines and some 6 rounds. We believe that these firearms seized are part of the Tivoli Gardens Young Generation Gang arsenal. The now deceased was deemed a member of the Tivoli Gardens Young Generation Gang.
Area 4 consists of Kingston East, Kingston Central, Kingston West, St. Andrew Central, and St. Andrew South. ACP Phipps says his division has a number of active gangs. He's urging residents to cooperate with the police as the joint operational efforts continue across the area.
I want to say too that these operations will continue across all the divisions within Area 4 as we seek to target the wanted persons and other gang members involved in criminality, and who more so at this time are perpetrating murders and shootings. These operations will continue as we seek to restore some calm and normalcy across the Area 4 space. As usual, we seek the cooperation and support of our citizens, and we are asking them to support us in our efforts as we try to make them much, much safer.
ACP Michael Phipps, commanding officer for the Area 4 Police. A man who has identified himself as the father of Rashawn Patterson, the man accused of murdering social media influencer Anika Slickiana Townsend, is alleging that the police killed his son in cold blood. Patterson was shot and killed in an alleged confrontation with lawmen in Dundee Pen, Hanover on Tuesday, but his father, who declined to give us his name, has a different account of the incident.
The man and you push him, man, you push him back. And you go in there and shoot the man, and then you say, I'm shooting.
It happened so quick.
You know, so waste time. Believe me, not good. I'm having the man and the police then come and run up. And before the man even wake up, then shoot him. And rough him up and down. You don't know nobody tell you only do that and say you can't go up there. You can't go in there or something.
Speaking with our news center following the incident, the man says something must be done about the frequent occurrence of police fatal shootings.
No man, never something I have to talk about. The people of the country, the law-abiding citizens, have to resolute them or something can't work. By the end of the year, the police killed 20 million and nobody charged, nobody responds. How they mess up the people? Tell me, them things that cannot happen in the country. You have to have people who stand up, man. A man just come in the house and shoot you and say, he's a shootout. You know how much to say, more than I tell you.
A man who identified himself as the father of murder accused Rashawn Patterson. The police say Patterson was being sought after intelligence suggested that he and other members of the Blood Gang were planning a series of murders and armed robberies in Hanover and parts of St. James. He was apprehended on February 2, interrogated and released pending further investigations. Patterson had been out on bail for the October 22 murder of Townsend. A woman has pleaded guilty to the 2017 murder of a Canadian national. 30-year-old Sadine Green of Edgewater Avenue in Portmore appeared in the St. Catharines Circuit Court on Tuesday. She admitted to killing 82-year-old Fitzalbert Barnes. Barnes's body was found wrapped in a tarpaulin at his home on Yonge Street in Spanish Town on May 24, 2017. A post-mortem revealed he suffered multiple stab wounds and blunt force trauma to the head. The police say following an intensive investigation by the Spanish Town Criminal Investigations Branch, Green was apprehended in 2018. She's booked to return to court for sentencing on April 4 this year. The St. Andrew South Police have charged a licensed firearm holder in connection with a shooting incident on Monday, February 17. The shooting occurred on the Mandela Highway in the vicinity of the 6 Mile Bridge at approximately 11 p.m. The man charged is 57-year-old Peter Campbell, a driver employed to Red Stripe and Celebration Brands Limited. He has been charged with wounding with intent and use of a firearm to commit felony. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government is assessing the extent to which executive orders issued by the Trump administration in the first few weeks of the U.S. President's second stint in office could affect Jamaica. The orders include a mandate for mass deportation of illegal migrants. Dr. Holness says the Jamaican government respects the USA's sovereignty to execute the mandates.
President Trump was elected on a solid mandate. His agenda was clearly presented to the American people, and the American people have voted. We respect the sovereign determination of all countries, as we would expect them to respect our sovereignty. No doubt, his agenda will change geopolitics and the world as we know it, and some of our Jamaicans overseas may even be dislocated. Nevertheless, as an independent country that is seeking our economic independence, it does mean that we can't find our space in a changing world. So we must always be looking for opportunities, alliances, friendships, and strategic partnerships. And that is what the government of Jamaica will do.
President Trump's executive orders also include directives to shutter the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. The closure has left several social programs run by local NGOs in limbo, but the Prime Minister says the changes could present opportunities for Jamaica.
I'm certain that it is going to be a different world, but it could also be a different world with the opportunities, and we need to put ourselves in a position to take advantage of those. We have already started to look at what it could mean for trade, what it could mean for nearshoring opportunities, what it could mean for access to new funding for labor, and maybe there will be impact on some programs for international aid. But maybe it's time that we look at being able to fund our programs ourselves. It's going to be a different world, There are uncertainties, but we are planning for those, and we are looking forward to take advantage of the opportunities that will also emerge.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, he was speaking on Monday at a forum dedicated to tracing the JLP's legacy from the time of Sir Alexander Bustamante. The Ministry of Education says it has begun to disburse graduate allowance payments to teachers. On Monday, the Jamaica Teachers Association demanded the payment of the allowance and retroactive mileage allowance going as far back as April 2022. According to the JTA, the ministry had agreed to pay the allowance effective April 1, 2024, but later reneged based on a new interpretation of the agreement. In response, the ministry advised that the graduate allowance would be disbursed by this Friday, February 28. But in a subsequent release late on Tuesday, the ministry said teachers in Bursa-paid schools in regions 1, 3, and 4 have already received their graduate allowance payments. It says payments for teachers in all other Bursa-paid schools will be processed today, Wednesday, February 26. Permanent Secretary Dr. Cassan Troop says schools in regions 1, 2, and 4 that are paid by the central ministry will also receive their graduate allowance payments today. Dr. Troop says the ministry is on track to have all payments made by Friday, February 28. The Jamaica Association of Chairmen of Secondary Institutions appears to be throwing support behind the board chairman at St. James High School in the ongoing conflict which led to the suspension of classes on Tuesday. The chairman, Christopher McCurdy, and the principal, Joseph Williams, have been locked in a power struggle for several months. Association President Courtney Winter says the situation is due to a lack of proper governance.
If the chairman is saying he cannot justify why some spends are occurring, then to me that is an issue if he can't get responses. So we have to look at what is happening at the school and how the governance is operating. And I think the chairman and the board in their wisdom is just trying to fix up the governance of the school. And based on my limited information, I think there is a governance issue at St. James High.
The situation escalated on Monday with Williams allegedly attempting to block McCurdy from entering the school for a meeting. The school, through the PTA, subsequently advised that there would be no classes until the issue was resolved. Images on Tuesday showed padlocked gates and debris blocking the roadway leading to the school. Winter is calling for the Education Act to be modernized to reflect best practices and mitigate the occurrence of similar situations.
The regs of 1980 need to be modernized. The way it is set up, chairmen could easily view themselves as executive chairman because they have to sign every voucher, every expense. They have to technically hire, fire. So it's set up in a way that chairmen are executive. However, in best practice doesn't allow chairmen to get involved with the day-to-day running of the school. But when the chairman says he has concern about spending, remember there should be a finance committee of the board. The board is responsible for holding the school responsible for their budget. And so if the chairman were to ask questions around spending, then he should demand getting an answer regarding spending.
Courtney Winter, President of the Jamaica Association of Chairmen of Secondary Institutions. Meanwhile, President of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, JAPS, Linvern Wright, says the Education Ministry needs to do a thorough investigation into the management at St. James High.
I think we have to have a mature approach to it. The fact is that the Ministry of Education itself needs to do a proper investigation as to what is taking place at the school. I don't know that we should speculate about things based on, what we hear from students or what we're hearing from the chairman himself. I think there needs to be some objective analysis of what is taking place there. We need to go and find out if many of these things that are being alleged are true, because I think there are serious allegations, and I don't know that I heard the chairman saying the ministry, their hands are tied. I don't know what that means. But in my mind, a school where the relations between chairman and principal is good, these kinds of things don't happen. And I think it is more than Mr. McCurdy saying.
That's Linvern Wright, the head of JAPS. Overseas news now. Denmark has announced plans to ban smartphones in schools. The move is based on recommendations from a youth well-being commission, which has also proposed raising the minimum age for smartphone use to 13. Denmark's education ministry confirmed the government's support for the initiative on Tuesday. It says while the specifics have not yet been finalized, preparations are underway to amend existing legislation to mandate primary and secondary schools to become phone and tablet free. It means almost all children between age 7 and 17 will be required by law not to bring their phones to school. The Commission argues that gadgets negatively impact children's self-esteem and their overall well-being. That's the news.
News at 7 was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:17.
Fix up with Fleetwood products for your home improvement, personal care, and aromatherapy needs. They have your well-being in mind. Available at retailers island-wide. The temperature by Fleetwood Jamaica is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Calling all coffee lovers, the wait is over. The 8th annual Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival at Hope Gardens on Saturday, March 1, celebrating the world's finest Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. Enjoy thrilling barista, mixologist showdown, interactive cooking and coffee demos, unique coffee-infused products, art and craft, mouth-watering food village, live entertainment, and so much more. 5,000 for adults, 3,000 for children 12 and under. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more details, follow the pages. The Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival is presented by the Ministry of Tourism and Tourism Enhancement Fund partners. See you there.
Fall in love with a new Mazda. From now until March 31, drive away an elegant CX-60, a majestic CX-90, or a nimble CX-5 and get a 2-year service package, 1-year free insurance, free license and registration, plus free window tinting. Conditions apply. Give in to temptation. Visit Executive Motors today. Mazda. Love at first drive.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak. Me not talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Time now for Street Smarts 2. Oh God, that came out. Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow Buckley. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. I didn't hear that one if it came out.
That's good. That's good.
I didn't hear that one. Because I'm listening keenly, you know.
All right.
Anyway, the situation, though, remember yesterday there was some rain in the corporate area. I'm not so sure what happened outside of the corporate area, but there was rain. And in fact, there are still pools of water in some areas. So motorists, as usual, be careful while you traverse. Remember, you have the commuters. It's not everyone who drives. But in the meantime, what is happening now? Places like Olo Road, especially going up past, up to Tamred, come from Camp Road, coming up that side, heading into Crossroads, Caledonia, you'll have traffic. Traffic is also in the Crossroads area. So if you're coming up Flight Road, in the vicinity of the clock to go across the Harper Tree Road, definitely you'll have traffic. Retirement Road onto Harper Tree, traffic in both directions. Harper Tree Road, there is traffic. Trying to make it onto Oxford Road, it's a bit challenging at the moment, because Oxford Road really has traffic in both directions, and also going up to Knutsford Boulevard. And I would also say Wolf Road going further up along towards that in the vicinity of Outerwind, in that vicinity there. And going further up Olo Road, you might also have a challenge because there was an accident in the vicinity of the Commissioner's office, yes. A Probox on I think it's a Honda Fit. There was a collision there, and as a consequence, not so sure if it has removed it, but it is going to cause some problems in that direction. So those of you who are coming off Monroe Road there, maybe you could take a chance going through Beverly Drive and exit back so you can avoid that area. But I'm sure that it's going to cause some ripple effect there, and then as a consequence, you might have challenges to make it to Ligonier or in any of these areas. All right? The rest of the corporate area, well, you know, Boulevard Malines, very busy. 6 miles to Boulevard, really bumper-to-bumper traffic. So if you're coming out of all of these areas onto Washington Boulevard, you have a challenge. If you're going onto Meadowbrook Estate to get onto Radius Road, or going up Queen Hill, you're going to have some traffic there. So all around there is traffic, and it continues after that. Remember, there are other areas. Slipe Road, Slipe End Road, North Street. And remember, I want to point out this one. The intersection of Bay Farm Road and Bay Farm Road and Olympic Way. It's very difficult to see the traffic signals there because of the sun. It really obscures the vision, so you're going to have a problem there. So my advice, take it slowly, all right? It's very difficult. The sun is in your eyes. It's very difficult. As usual, at Street Smart, your safety is our concern. George.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow McLean there on point with Street Smarts 2. Up next, front page.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned in to our discussion segment, The Front Page. Continuing discussions this morning on the matters concerning St. James High School. The Minister of Education has stepped in to restore order at St. James High. This action followed Tuesday's cancellation of classes, which was triggered by a dispute among the school board's chairman, the school principal, and the Parent Teachers Association president. Dana Davey reports.
Nationwide News understands the grievances that led to a disruption in classes at the school on Monday and the suspension of all classes on Tuesday surround the reappointment of Christopher McCurdy as chairman of the board. McCurdy and principal Joseph Williams have been at loggerheads over the management of the institution. McCurdy is reportedly unpopular with Williams after raising conflict of interest issues over the presence of Williams' wife as part of the school board. It's understood that things escalated on Monday, with Williams allegedly attempting to block McCurdy from entering the compound for a meeting. Our sources say the police got involved. And on Tuesday morning, images seen by Nationwide News showed debris blocking the roadway leading to the school. The Ministry of Education issued a statement on Tuesday saying it has intervened. The ministry says it acknowledges the unfortunate breakdown in relationship that has disrupted the school's operations and recognizes the need for immediate and long-term solutions. It says the executive director for the National Council on Education has been deployed to St. James High to meet with the school's administration and other stakeholders. The acting chief education officer, Terrian Thomas Gale, and the regional director, Dr. Michelle Pinnock, have also been deployed. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the issues at St. James High bringing to sharp focus the importance of clear governance structures in educational institutions. She says it's important to give greater support to the operationalization of the leadership and governance structure within schools. Dr. Morris Dixon says under no circumstances should school leaders be at odds. She says those disputes ought not to deprive students of even one day of learning.
She says the institution at St. James High is not the example that should be set for students. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
And joining us now is the Executive Director of the National Council on Education, Maris Murray. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Ms. Murray, you were one of the people that was deployed to St. James High yesterday. What intervention was provided by the ministry, and are the students, or will the students, be back in the classroom this morning?
Yes, that's our plan. Students should be back at their desk this morning. And yesterday was quite an interesting engagement because we met with the members of the board. We also met with the staff. And, it was an eye-opening exercise for me that we noted that there are a lot of unresolved issues. Issues relating to how the board conducts itself. We also noted principles of collective responsibility. And the chairman is not the board. And all members, when we met yesterday, the members were saying, look, we would like to have an input in all the decisions that are being made. And the principle of collective responsibility played out clearly yesterday. So we noted that one of the issues that we need to treat with at the governance level is to ensure that the board operates with a united front. Everybody is recognizing their role and responsibility and realizing what is their purpose in governing this noble institution.
Is it that the members of the board were indicating that the chairman takes on a more executive role and doesn't really consult with them on matters relating to the school that come before the board?
I think in some instances that was the issue. Many of the decisions that McCurdy made is not that they didn't support it, it's saying that it wasn't collective. And so McCurdy has to treat with that, okay? To treat with the collective responsibility. And in terms of, collective responsibility, and I'm hammering this, it's a governance concept whereby decisions are made based on consensus. And persons, members of the board, even if they did not vote in favor of that decision, once it's the consensus of the board, they must stand by those decisions. And so these are some of the critical governance principles that we need to outline at the governance level. And yesterday we recognized that intervention is critical because it allows the board to lead with a united front.
Well, what of the concerns also of the chairman, who says many times it's difficult to get a quorum, to have board meetings on matters concerning the school, and the issues he also raised about conflict of interest, one primary one being that the president of the PTA is also the wife of the principal of that institution?
Yes. Let me treat with the conflict of interest case. It came before the National Council on Education, and I, as the executive director, recognized that we had a case in that matter, the Manchester Past Student Association versus the Minister of Education at the time. It was about 2014 when that case came about, where the minister wanted to place a stay on the past student's decision to select a particular member who they decided should be their representative. Now, this person was deemed confrontational. Now, the outcome of that judicial review is that the minister did not have any authority in preventing the association and making that decision, okay? And so I'm guided by that. So let us say, okay, the Parent Teachers Association has selected the principal's wife to serve on the school board. Then when matters, minister may not have any authority in that regard of power to say, look, we'll step aside in keeping with the current regulations, right? But we would really like to see what happens is that when matters relating to maybe principalship, that the wife of the principal should declare her interest, that she's conflicted, that she has a friend, or there's a secondary interest that is compromising her primary interest as a member of the school board, and in that regard, she must recuse herself and step aside. That is an honorable thing to do. The regulation is very specific. 1980 regulation speaks to it. At Regulation 88, Section 9, which says where there's a conflict of interest, the member of the board concerned shall declare his interest. So there's a clear protocol. And so I think...
But the issue is, Ms. Murray, based on what the chairman has said, is that protocol is not being followed. That when matters in relation to the principal comes up before the board, that the PTA president, who is his wife, does not want to recuse herself.
And in that regard, there is a breakdown in the governance. The NCE must be advised and matter treated with.
So when the any NCE is advised on matters like that she doesn't want to recuse herself, what is supposed to take train after that?
Well, as I said, when we look at the minister's poll, we can't. The minister would not be able to exercise judgment in that particular case based on the Manchester precedent that has been tested in the Manchester Past Student Association versus the Ministry of Education.
So that would leave those issues in relation to the principal kind of in limbo?
No, but the member, the principal's wife, has a responsibility as a member of the board to declare her interest and to step aside.
That's what I'm saying, Ms. Murray. If it is that is the protocol.
She must do that, and if she fails to do that, then we may want to revisit how the board conducts itself.
All right, we're going to pick up on that after the break. We're speaking with Maurice Murray, who is the Executive Director of the National Council on Education, in relation to matters concerning St. James High School.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:34.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, or 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Interested in buying into a new housing development scheme, hiring a real estate agent, or interested in a profession in real estate? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you need to contact the Real Estate Board. Everyone in the real estate industry, including developers, dealers, and salesmen, must register with the Real Estate Board. Know your facts. Contact us at 926-974829 at 24 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, or visit reb.gov.jm for more information.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
My Mega
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825 to 8. APC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, having a conversation with the Executive Director of the National Council on Education, Maurice Murray, on matters relating to St. James High. Before the break, Ms. Murray was telling us that classes are expected to resume this morning at the institution following disruptions yesterday. And Ms. Murray was also talking to us about what takes place in relation to board meetings, and a member is conflicted on a matter, and the protocols says that that member is supposed to declare interest and recuse him or herself from that meeting. In relation to St. James High, on matters relating to the principal, the board chairman has said that the president of the PTA, who is also the principal's wife, has said that she is not recusing herself from meetings having to do with the principal, that she is also a parent with a child at the school, and that she has more right to be in the meeting that the chairman, who is not even from Jamaica, is what the chairman is saying that the PTA president said. Now, Ms. Murray, you are saying that there's a protocol. There's a written protocol that says you're supposed to declare interest and recuse yourself. We're saying that the chairman has said that this member does not want to recuse herself when matters in relation to the principal comes up. In relation now to the Ministry of Education, if that is the case all the time, does the Ministry of Education have any power to intervene and tell this person that, listen, you need to step out of those meetings?
Yes, the ministry has the authority to do so in collaboration with the NCE. I noted cases that we've dealt with previously, and so what the honorable thing to do, well, we would meet with the staff, the PTA representative. In fact, we would meet with the representative first, meet with the association, and arrange for that group to make a temporary nomination of someone to sit in the board meetings, duly appointed by the minister, to sit in those meetings where those matters are being discussed.
Good.
So
Right.
So that person takes the place of the conflicted individual who is on the board.
Good. Now,
representing that particular group.
Has the chairman ever written to the Ministry of Education in relation to matters where there's a conflict of interest and this member is choosing not to recuse herself from the meeting? Has that ever been brought to the attention of the Ministry of Education?
Well, we had received a letter stating that we should remove the person because it is generally a conflict of interest based on the fact that she was elected by that particular group. But remember, earlier in our conversation, I spoke about the fact that minister does not have that discretion in law to remove a duly elected representative unless the minister can prove that the person acted in a way that is so egregious that she would have to revoke that person's appointment. So in that regard, when we got that letter, it was really not because of a particular instance. It was just a general state of affairs that were very present on the board at all meetings, compromise the integrity of the decision-making process. Mm-hmm. So what we did, the plan was that we would meet with the group, meet with the board, and to discuss these matters and to highlight how do we cooperate as a board, because part of the board member's fiduciary responsibility is that he or she must act in the best interest of the institution placed in his or her charge. Yes. And so we have to really explain to these persons. I think sometimes it's not so much it's uncooperative, but it's absence of the necessary information to inform how we act as board members. And I think that, so one of the interventions that we need to make, based on our discussion yesterday, is that we need to engage the board in terms of corporate governance principles principles of collective responsibility, principles of fiduciary responsibility. How do I make decisions that are honorable in keeping in the best interest of the students placed in our charge?
This letter that you speak to Ms. Murray about the conflict of interest, was it written to you before she was appointed to the board?
No, it was after. Apparently, it came after they were having difficulties. We had discussion. I had discussion with the board chair to say the minister didn't have any discretion at the time to remove, and I cited the Manchester Past Students Association case. And so but at the time, there were no issues relating to conflict of interest, particularly relating to conduct of the principal.
Because we have gotten information to the contrary, to say that the letter was written before she was appointed. The ministry was told it was going to be a conflict of interest.
I don't recall receiving that letter. I know I have a letter in my possession which says that we need to remove her because there was a difficulty in making decisions. Now, if the letter says from a particular meeting, then there's a protocol in law. All right. Now, if that letter had come to my desk, then I would have cited the Manchester Past Students Association case to say, based on practice, minister would not have that discretion. But then we would pass it on to the minister for her to make a decision. Because that is how I recall clearly with the Manchester Past Students Association case, we were written to, and we wrote back.
Do you remember the date on that letter that you got from the chairman to say there were conflict of interest concerns?
I don't recall the date, but I can check it on my I will have to check it and get back to you on that specific date, because I think some.
Ms. Murray?
Yes, I was trying to just find the letter on. I don't recall the date, and in the interest of time.
I'm seeing a May 3, 2024 letter here.
Yes.
Does that ring a bell?
I think, right. And yes, I recall there's a letter from Mr. McCurdy asking that she be removed because of conflict of interest.
Okay. Was this before or after the appointment? Do you remember?
Well, remember the tenure of the board ended. Appointment of whom?
Of the PTA president to the board.
No, it's after. It's after the appointment of the PTA president when there was what happened is that there was...
So this May 3, 2024 letter came in after the appointment?
After the appointment of the PTA representatives. And it came after, in my recollection, when there was an issue in the media regarding the dismissal of treating with a case with students and dealing and treating with the dismissal of temporary staff.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Murray, here's the thing, Ms. Murray.
Yeah.
We things are not clear because I'd like to know if after your meeting on Tuesday, you left satisfied that this board can continue, well, not continue, that this board can work in the manner they were mandated to by the minister under law. Are you satisfied that that can happen?
Let me tell you that yesterday a lot of issues came out, and we are deliberating on those issues as to whether this board can continue, if it's untenable, or whether there can be slight modifications. But that decision rests with the minister based on our recommendation.
Right. So I don't reach a decision yet. So I'm very happy you said that because now it's clear to me that
it's very clear.
It's clear to me that the issue of the board working together remains unsettled and it is subject to deliberation and a final decision. Correct?
Correct.
All right.
That will be done today.
Right? You're moving quickly. So today you'll determine if the board can continue as is.
Well, we will, once the report comes in, because a detailed report is going to be submitted based on our deliberations and the concerns of the board and the board members. And then And we, a decision will have to be made whether because we're picking up that is related with interpersonal skills, dealing with.
I would suggest to you, Miss Moore, that it should be more than pick up, though. Pick up is things that journalists do from afar. You were there and sat with the parties, so it should be a distinct impression that you got. And are you saying you got that distinct impression that interpersonal issues may perhaps compromise the ability of this board to work together going forward? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. It was detective, for want of a better word.
All right. Hear me now. The principal himself, did you get the impression or were you convinced any at all yesterday that the composition of the board has been, quote unquote, stacked in a particular manner to compromise decisions being made?
I would have to do a more clinical research on that one. I know on the face of it, in terms of, let us look at how the boards of public education institutions are configured. In the case of St. James High School, there are 4 council nominees. You could see those as being very independent because they were nominated through an independent process. Then here we have the elected representatives on the board. The responsibility is delegated to our principals, which we have confidence in, to arrange for the selection of the election, because these are not nominated members; they're elected.
Yes.
Right, and we emphasize that this should be a transparent process. I've not received any complaints about concerns relating to issues of the duly elected representatives which are the internal reps on the school board. I have not received any concern.
My producer says we're out of time, Ms. Moore. But lastly, before you go, where the board is concerned, is it possible, based on what you heard, that we could find Monday morning that there's a new board in place at St. James High, with none of the members who are serving now recalled to this new board? Could that happen? Is that not a nuclear way to start fresh?
Yes,
Since Mr. Williams is not going anywhere, and you have no power to remove him, could we have a new board in place by Monday without any of these old members coming back?
Maybe not Monday, because there's a process. Remember, a new board was just recently appointed, so Monday would be...
Yeah, but we have a crisis now, Miss Murray.
Yeah.
We have a crisis now, so yeah.
No. School boards are creatures of statute.
No, man, I'm not talking to abridge to abrogate the rules. I'm just saying. Yes.
The minister and the NC here has to make sure that the regulations are observed.
No, man, I'm not saying to breach the regulations, Miss Murray, and I know the process must follow. But work with me now. Here's what I'm asking. I'm asking if, based on your wisdom and your experience, you attended upon those discussions. You sat there. Could the nuclear solution be? Could the nuclear solution be a brand new board to work with this principle?
And when we say a brand new board, it means that we would need to do over the elections of the internal reps and the NCE nominate new members.
Could you mandate that certain members who are on this board don't offer themselves a nomination? Do your powers extend that far?
And when you say that, right, because remember, the minister's discretion is limited in the election of the internal reps. So we can't just dissolve this board and when we end up with the same elected representatives on the same board.
Which is what I'm asking, if there's anything to guard us against.
Yes, because there is very little control over who the groups and bodies
nominate.
Elect
and then send forward.
Process of election and then there's appointment. NCE nominate, right? And minister may have more leverage over the NC nominees. And the other thing that will help to make up the board. So you see, the way our boards are the boards are created is one, there is an anomaly when we look at it, anomaly of government owned. And that is why we're reviewing the education regulations right now to ensure that we have a board that on the face of it is independent based on the selection process.
The minister's next decision in this matter is expected when?
You're giving me by Monday. Today is Wednesday.
Yes.
Minister will be advised by Thursday, tomorrow, hopefully. And because remember, there's due process. We have to go to minister. And then, because minister needs to make sure that the decision that she makes is in the best interest of the institution.
So a decision from the minister, she'll be in a position to make one come Monday morning?
Certainly.
Right.
We're on the ball.
All right.
We act in the best interest of, we are stakeholders in the education system, and we are committed to acting in the best interest of St. James High School.
And between now and then, you have things in place to ensure that school is not disrupted for the students at St. James High.
Certainly. We're on the ground.
Hear you on that. Thank you this morning.
You're most welcome.
All the best to you.
Listen up, motorists. Speeding burns more gas. So slow down. The life you save may be your own and also that of your loved ones. Slow down. Save lives and money. The time by the Insurance Association of Jamaica is
7:52.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Looking for a partner on your financial journey? Look no further. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited offers attractive loan specials and easy savings plans. Plus, becoming a member is simple. If you're over the age of 16 and want to join a credit union that truly cares about your financial wellness, you may be eligible for membership. Conditions apply. Call or visit us at www.jpscu.com to find out more and start building your future today. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited, your financial partner for life.
At Active Home Center, we've got everything you need to create that perfect spa retreat. From comfort height toilets to the widest selection in faucets and shower enclosures to stylish tubs and the latest trends in bathroom cabinets in various sizes. Our bathroom collection has the perfect fit for every space and every budget. Your relaxing retreat starts here. Visit our showroom in Kingston at 84 Constance Spring Road or Montego Bay at Barnett Tech Park. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Digicel, live life your way, no free what? Digicel Postpaid. With Digicel Postpaid, it's all about you. Sign up or pay your bills to stay active for a chance to win a luxurious all-expense paid trip for two to Royalton, Antigua. With round-trip flights on us, every week you could win exciting prizes. Event tickets, gym memberships, spa packages, excursion adventures, restaurant vouchers, and more. When you opt in on the My Digicel app, life your way starts now with Digicel. Better connected.
Promotion ends March 31. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
In this uncertain U.S. immigration climate, you need expert guidance you can trust. The Consular Queen LLC handles visas, waivers, petitions, and more, making immigration stress-free. Don't navigate the process alone. Get professional support today. Call 470-593-8448 now. That's 470-593-8448. The Consular Queen. Unite families, change lives. 470-593-8448. Secure your future today.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. In the time that we have, we'll be speaking with the president of the MSME Alliance, Antoinette Hamilton, reacting to the latest opinion from the Bank of Jamaica, its governor, Richard Biles, on interest rates having to do with commercial banks. Welcome to the program, Mrs. Hamilton.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. So, the governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Richard Biles, he had a word of caution to those who are advocating for strong action against financial institutions that refuse to lower lending rates. What's your reaction to his latest perspective on the matter?
Well, we disagree with the position, and it's quite unfortunate that the governor is provided with inaccurate and misleading information to allow him to come out and say, one, that the banks did not adjust their interest rate on fixed loans. That is totally misleading. I have an email here from, well, I won't say the bank, the 26th of April 2022. A fixed interest rate mortgage was adjusted upwards. So that is inaccurate and misleading information that the governor is provided with. So we're not being unreasonable, and we are being objective based on the facts that are available on the ground. Secondly, the governor would have mentioned that the banks were willing to take a little hit on their margins during 2022 by not adjusting the interest rate on certain loans. Now, the records don't lie as well. In 2022, NCB made its largest profit of 35 billion. That is increasing from 20 billion in 2021. In 2022, BNS made $11 billion. That's an increase from 8 billion. So profits did not take a hit. And so I feel so embarrassed that our governor would have been misled in thinking that what is happening on the ground is what is being advised, to come out and put a position that we have to be objective. When in fact we have been objective. We are being objective. What we are also saying is that it took the banks and the data, based on the data I just gave you, April 26, 2022, in the governor started increasing the interest rate in October 2021. Now do the math for me, Tana. October 2021, November 2021, December, January, February.
6 months, Mom. 6 months.
April. 6 months.
George did the math for you, yes.
6 months. We're now at 6 months, Tana. Since the governor reduced the policy interest rate that started in August, we're almost at 6 months. And we're saying we need to see some adjustments now. And while we appreciate that the governor is applying pressure to adjust the interest rate on the new loans, we're saying, Governor, that we need the adjustment on the existing loans as well, because the banks took that position in 2022 and made record profits. And we're saying they should take the same position now that they took, similar to what they took in 2022, to adjust not only the current interest rates going forward, but also existing interest rates. When we do the math, George, I'm sure you probably have a mortgage.
Yes, I do.
Say a $35 million mortgage at 30 years at 8.5%. Did you know that a 0.5% reduction is saving you $144,000 for the year?
Yeah, but
that is every single year.
But Madam President, even when you look at even people with car loans, and you get the letters about the adjustment up, we all got those letters. Okay. It is a significant amount when you annualize it.
Yes, it is. And these were also on fixed rate loans. So when the governor came out and said that the banks, and I will quote, he said that the banks up to 40% of their portfolio was fixed and they could not change those rates. That is misleading information that our governor is provided with, and it is so unfortunate because that is not the facts on the ground. So it either speaks to I know the Bank of Jamaica have regulators that from time to time will check what is happening in the banks. Is either they're not doing their work well, or the governor cannot rely on what the banks are saying because they're misleading him. It's not the facts.
So, Mrs. Hamilton, as we wrap,
just before you ask that question, Tana,
yes.
Madam President, I know that your friends, your very good friends at the PSOJ, have not really loaned you their muscle in this call? Are you calling to them this morning to say, listen, support as we make this call, since we're not making any headway where the central bank is concerned?
I know they have. They came out at the earlier part of the reductions, and I will renew the call for them to support, because majority of their members are also micro, small, and medium entities. So I will definitely be reaching out to the president again to support us in the call. They did, but it seems as if they have given up. But we are committed, the MSME Alliance is committed to doing the research, to providing the facts, to support our call that the banks have continued to hold this country hostage, and it is full time that the governor and the government take steps to prevent this in the future.
We can leave it there. Antoinette Hamilton, the president of the MSME Alliance, one of the issues that we will continue to watch. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Antoinette.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
All right, going to take a break for Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
The time by Grace Good Move is
8:03.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us, is
25 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 24 out west in Montego Bay, and 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica this morning.
In Across Jamaica this Wednesday morning, senior doctors are back on the job this morning after a 2-day sick-out prompted by a wage dispute with the government. The doctors, represented by the Association of Government Medical Consultants, AGMC, called in sick on Monday and Tuesday. The consultants are understood to have agreed to a proposal brokered by officials at the Labour Ministry to accept the payments in the first quarter of the new fiscal year. The Ministry of Education says it has begun to disburse graduate allowances to teachers. On Monday, the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, demanded the payment of the graduate allowance and retroactive mileage allowance going as far back as April 2022. According to the JTA, the ministry had agreed to pay the allowance effective April 1, 2024, but later reneged based on a new interpretation of the agreement. In response, the ministry advised that the graduate allowance would be disbursed by this Friday, February 28. But in a subsequent release late Tuesday, the ministry said teachers in bursar-paid schools in Region 1, 3, and 4 have already received their graduate allowances. It says payments for teachers in all other bursar-paid schools will be processed today, Wednesday, February 26. Permanent Secretary Dr. Casson Troop says schools in Regions 1, 2, and 4 that are paid by the Central Ministry will also receive their graduate allowances today. Dr. Troop adds that the ministry is on track to have all payments completed by Friday, February 28. The St. Andrews South Police have charged a licensed firearm holder in connection with a shooting incident on Monday, February 17. The shooting occurred on the Mandela Highway in the vicinity of 6 Mile Bridge at approximately 11:10 p.m. The man charged is 57-year-old Peter Campbell, a driver employed to Red Stripe and Celebration Brands Limited. He has been charged with wounding with intent and use of a firearm to commit felony. It's understood that Campbell, who was operating a Toyota Coaster bus, was involved in a dispute with a passenger during the journey. The altercation escalated and Campbell discharged his 9mm pistol, injuring the passenger. The injured passenger was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital for treatment. Campbell was formally charged after statements were collected and a question and answer session conducted in the presence of his attorney, King's Counsel Peter Champagny. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Wednesday morning. I'm Tawna Thomas.
Yo, my boss. Yo, my general. Yo, my king. The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stark-terrific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, stackify yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King. Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Apply to work in the next general election. Visit your EOJ constituency office or apply online at ecj.com.jm. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, committed to free and fair elections.
Fit Nation is brought to you by Express Fitness 24/7. Your goal is our mission.
You wanna hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work. You want a Lamborghini? Sip martinis, look hot in a bikini. You better work. You wanna live fancy, live in a big mansion, party in France. You better work. You better work. You better work. You better work. Now get to work. Now get to work. Ring it on, ring it loud. Don't stop now, just be the champion. Work it hard like it's your profession. Watch out now, 'cause here it comes. Here comes the smasher. Here comes the master. Here comes the big beat. Big beat to blast ya. No time to quit now. Just time to get it now. Pick up what I'm putting down. Pick up what I'm putting down.
That time of a Wednesday morning, it's time for Fit Nation. And this morning in Fit Nation, I'm focusing on Nutrition 101, understanding the basics. So healthy eating does not have to be complicated. You can nourish your body while still enjoying the foods you love. Food is meant to be enjoyed, not feared, counted, weighed, and tracked. So on Fit Nation today, we discuss the importance of nutrition in the fitness journey. Well, rather, Brian Sweeney will be guiding us on the importance of nutrition in the fitness journey. Brian Sweeney of Raise the Bar Fitness. Let's take a listen.
Hey, what's going on, guys? If you find that you're one of those people that just seems to get lost and confused in all the nutrition jargon that goes on online, you're not alone. Whether you're trying to start a new diet, you're just looking to eat healthy, there's all kinds of information out there that can distract you from just understanding what is going on, especially as it pertains to just food labels and just general nutrition. In this video, we're going to go over some of the nutritional basics that are going to help you not only understand what you're putting in your mouth and what you're putting on the table for your family, but it's also going to help you make better decisions to help you get closer to your goals. So starting with the basics. There's a couple key principles or a couple ideas that we need to understand moving forward. And one of the ways I kind of think about this when I'm talking to my clients is that you had to learn the alphabet. You were still able to talk, but before you got really good at it, you still had to learn the alphabet and sentence structure. So we're going to go into some of those basics right now. It's not going to stop you from eating, right? So you don't need to know these things to be able to survive. But if you want to get that grassroots foundational understanding on food, we got to hit some of the basics. And the first thing we're going to talk about is macros. Talking about the macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats. Each one of those has specific roles in the body, okay? There's some overlap where the body will make things work if one of them is deficient over the other, which is extremely cool, but it's just not for this video. Now with protein, the two things that we're concerned about are essential and non-essential, okay? Proteins are made up of amino acids, and we have essential aminos, which means the body has to have them. You've got to get them from food. And then we have non-essential, which means the body can make them on their own. Now, here's the funny thing. If you don't get the right amount of food and you're not real well balanced in your protein sources, you'll end up deficient. And that's going to cause your body to be just less efficient or less productive in the way cells work, okay? Super layman. Now, out of those aminos, you have to either supplement or you have to intentionally choose foods that are going to bring those essential aminos back in. Now with carbohydrates, there's two things that we want to focus on, and that's simple and complex, okay? A complex carb is just one where your body has to work harder to break it down, to be able to consume it. So if you eat a sweet potato, it's more of a complex carb, even though it's a starch. Your body's actually going to have some amount of calories that are going to go towards digesting it. A simple carbohydrate, on the other hand, is one the body breaks down very easily. And the downside to that is that when sugar hits the bloodstream very fast, you're looking at a spike in insulin, which if you're not ready for optimal storage into muscle, you can find that most of those will go into fat storage. So simple carbs is something that we want to typically avoid, unless it's post-workout or there's some other conditions. We're keeping this light, okay? So not real geeky. Now with simple carbs versus complex carbs, the other thing that you want to remember, most man-made things, breads, pastas, they're all going to be simple, okay? So when you're trying to decide which type of carbs to eat and which ones you want to stay away from, complex is always king. Simple, there's a timing dependent thing with them, and you want to be able to make sure you're eating simple at the right time to make sure that the uptake is optimal, okay? All right, and then lastly, we're going to talk about fats. The three types of fats that we're going to focus on today are going to be unsaturated, polyunsaturated, and then saturated. Unsaturated and polyunsaturated, those are typically going to be from plant-based, all right? Plants, nuts, and seeds. Saturated, not 100% because we do have coconut oil that has saturated, avocado is saturated. There's other plant-based that are saturated as well, but the ones that we want to pay attention to are animal-based. Milk, dairy, meat, those are all typically going to be saturated fats. Now, how much of each of those types of fat you get in your diet, depending on your genetics, is going to determine how beneficial or harmful those are going to be for you. You want to make sure that they're balanced. Try to limit most of your animal-based saturated fats to around 10% of your total intake for the day. That's just a general guideline. It's not specific to you. There's always going to be more conditions that are going to make it more tailorable to what you're looking for. Again, keeping this high level. All right, so we covered macronutrients. Now very quickly we're going to go over micronutrients. That's your vitamins and minerals. And vitamins and minerals have roles in other enzymatic functions. They basically just help the body continue to do the things it needs to do to help you survive. Burn fat, think, digest food, run around, play with your kids. If you're unbalanced in your vitamins and your minerals, you will find that there's a drop-off in some performance. It could affect the way you burn fat, it can affect the way you sleep, it can affect your mood. So typically supplementing with vitamins and minerals is beneficial to the general wellness mindset. And depending on who you are and how active you are, you might need more of one thing or the other. But again, there is a role and there's a place for vitamins and minerals as well. All right, so how much food do you need? How much should you eat? When we talk about recommended daily allowance, when we talk about a base nutritional intake for the day, every person is going to be different. And I know that food labels are going to say something like based on a 2,000 calorie diet. Your sports nutrition guy might be telling you something else. Your nutritionist might be telling you something else. There's a whole lot of numbers and calculating that comes into determining exactly how much you need. But there are a number of factors. Your age, your gender, your activity level, the amount of lean muscle mass that you have on your body. There's a whole bunch of things that goes into determining the right amount for you to be able to function and survive. But when you're talking about weight loss and muscle gain, there's a lot of tweaking that needs to happen. It's not a one-size-fits-all. That's the most important thing to take away from this. When you're trying to determine how much you're supposed to eat, keep an open mind because it might not be what you think. Typically, what I see with most of my clients, I have just as many folks that undereat as overeat. So you might find that you're not getting anywhere near the nutritional density, let alone getting the right balance of proteins, carbs, and fats, vitamins and minerals, okay? So remember, this is very individualistic. And your needs are going to be different from somebody else's, which is why there is no one size fits all and there is no one diet that universally works for everybody. All right, so you've got a grasp on some of the basics, and this is very elementary. And to refer back to what I said in the beginning of the video, you have to kind of have that elementary outlook on what you're doing, and that's, you want to help kind of move that along a little bit better. Start tracking every single thing that you eat. Nobody likes counting macros, it's a pain in the butt, but go ahead and get a scale. I have a link to one here in the video. Get a scale and track every single thing that you eat for 3 to 5 days. The picture of your daily nutritional intake is going to start to shape, and you'll start to get a better idea as to the proteins, carbs, and fats. And if you're using something like MyFitnessPal, it'll even give you the breakdown on the vitamins and the minerals that you're getting as well. And you'll get more of a picture on what you're doing. Now, without that tracking, without that basic understanding, it's going to be hard to make adjustments to push you into the direction that you want to go. So initially it might become a little bit cumbersome, but once you start developing a habit and you get into the routine of it, that information is invaluable. And that's probably one of the #1 things I have my new clients do, especially when we're trying to establish a new nutritional baseline and get them on the track for health and fitness.
Thanks so much to Brian Sweeney there of Raise the Bar Fitness, talking to us this morning about Nutrition 101, understanding the basics. That's it for Fit Nation.
You wanna hot buddy?
Fit Nation was brought to you by Express Fitness 24/7. Your goal is our mission.
Apply for your NHD refunds at nhd.gov.jm or via the NHD app. Do not click on any links offering to help you. The time by the NHD is
8:17.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
Jamaica. Let's
25 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 24 out west in Montego Bay, and 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Operators and commercial carriers, renew your road license online. It's as easy as 1-2 click. Visit the Transport Authority website at www.ta.org.jm. Choose your license type and click Apply Now. Sign in or create an account with your email address and complete the application process, uploading all relevant documents. Make payment using a debit or credit card. Once your application is approved, the Transport Authority will email you to collect your sticker. Pick up your sticker in office or utilize our courier service. Once the sticker is collected, your digital road license will be emailed to you. For more information, call the Transport Authority toll-free at 1-888-991-5687.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
(8:20) on this Wednesday morning, Wednesday, February 26, 2025. This is Nationwide This Morning, and we are set now to have a discussion about the divestment of the Trans-Jamaica Highway. And my guests this morning, CEO of NCB Capital Markets, Angus Young, and the Finance Minister, Favour Williams. And why are we here? Because, beg your pardon, the National Road Operating and Constructing Company, NROC, has launched a public offering to sell its remaining 20% stake in Trans-Jamaica Highway, the operator of Highway 2000 East-West, of course, one of the major toll roads in the country. It's valued at 6.3 billion JMD, Jamaican dollars, or just about 40 million US dollars. The offer for sale will open March 4, 2025 and close 14 days later, March 18. Shares are priced at $3.60 each, and about 1.75 billion shares are available, and an additional 750 million may be issued. So, as I said, the CEO of NCB Capital Markets, Angus Young, and the Finance Minister, Favour Williams, are here this morning. Good morning, Minister. Good morning, Mr. Young.
Good morning, George.
Good morning, George. Good morning, Minister. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
All right.
All right, Minister, may I start with you? The decision to make this 20% stake available to the public.
I'm sorry, George, I missed a part of your question, if you could repeat.
Right. No, I was saying the decision to make this stake, this 20% stake, available to the public in Trans-Jamaica Highway.
Okay, so as you know, and I think you said it, the Trans-Jamaica Highway is Jamaica's first toll road, and it's the largest infrastructure project, is my understanding, in the English-speaking Caribbean. In December of 2019, TJH became fully Jamaican-owned, and after that, there was market activity in that 80% of the company was offered to the public, with the government retaining 20%. It is this 20% that is being offered, and for the government, this divestment is strategic and timely. TJH has shown consistent revenue growth. And if you look at its publicly available revenues for 2023, they were about $11.6 billion. It's also a dividend-paying stock, and I know that a lot of entities, such as pension funds, love the fact that companies pay dividends. If you compare the record of the company now, if you look at their 2023 results, which are public, and you compare those to when they initially went to market, you will see good improvements over what they were projecting when they went to market. The government's stake, the sale of the 20% is allowing us to monetize this asset so that we can reinvest in other national priorities.
I can hear some people saying, well, if the minister says in one breath that TJH has been performing well, has been more than holding its own, why then this imperative to divest itself of that 20% stake? How would you answer those skeptics, Minister?
So I'd answer that by saying the government should be always looking to create value with the assets it has, and should always be looking to see how best Jamaicans can benefit more from owning those assets rather than it being in the portfolio of the government. This is not the first time that the government has done this. If you recall, when I was minister at the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, we did an initial public offering of Wigton, and we've seen that was sold to the public, and that company has performed out there in the marketplace. And we believe that the assets of Jamaica should be opened up and available to Jamaicans to be in their portfolio as investments, rather than being locked away within the portfolio of the government, probably at suboptimal performance and suboptimal value. So we put them on the market and allow the market to do the valuation and allow Jamaicans to own these assets.
Hear you on that. Mr. Young, morning again. The role of NCB Capital Markets in this transaction.
Thank you, George. NCB Capital Markets has the role of lead arranger and co-broker on this offer for sale, George. And what we're trying to do is utilize the domestic reach of NCB to make sure, as the minister said, that every single Jamaican has an opportunity to participate and own a part of a very productive part of Jamaica. So our goal is to have the furthest distribution as possible, the greatest amount of shareholders for this infrastructure asset. This is for the people of Jamaica.
For those who are who are studied in investment and finding opportunities, Angus, this explanation I'm going to ask you for is not for them, but for those who are new to the game and who are eyeing this up and saying, well, this is a good place to put my money. Public participation in infrastructure investment, why is that particularly important, do you think?
Okay, no problem. So if you believe in Jamaica, if you believe in Jamaica's economic trajectory, and you don't have to take my word for it, the stats are there. Jamaica is constantly being upgraded as a credit. All the metrics are in the right direction. So if you tick that box and you believe in its trajectory, what else? Well, you look for infrastructure assets, which are essential services, which are long-term investments. This asset ticks that box also. Now, George, if you look at the price at which this offering is taking place, which, as you said, was $3.60 or 0.0228 US dollars, the dividend yield at that price is around 5%, George. If you think about it, where else can you get 5% on your money for an asset that is a priority, that is a real proxy of Jamaica, a real proxy of infrastructure, and you have all the upside as the one sea leg of the highway is yet to come. That one sea leg, George, is Maypen to Williams Field.
Yes.
That is not yet earning revenue, but that's to come. So that's the upside. If you come in today, you're going to get that upside when that one sea starts to earn revenue. So I would argue to you, George, that you can buy this share and you can have it as one of your medium to long-term portfolio plays and sit and earn 5% with lots of upside.
Yeah.
I think it's a very strong value proposition.
You've made a good argument. Of course, people are getting involved in investment all the time, Angus Young. So, of course, through NCB Capital Markets, how can people who are new to the investment game get a piece of TJH?
Absolutely. So through the infrastructure that NCB would have pioneered, which is online subscription to IBO, so Go IPO is our online platform that any Jamaican can log on to. Through that platform, they can create an account at the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and they can subscribe to this offer for sale from the comfort of their home 24/7, George. And there's a minimum subscription is 1,000 units on the Jamaican side and 100,000 units on the US dollar side.
Hear you on that. Minister, of course, you are in the position of having to have a plan for every dollar in revenue that you raise. So what are your plans for the proceeds from this sale?
Okay, as I said earlier, George, is to reinvest the proceeds in other national priorities. We have several that we are discussing right now, but I'm not at a point yet where that decision has been made.
Well, that was angling after your initial general statement about the use of the proceeds, but you're not determined yet what it is that you're going to spend on.
No, not yet.
All right. Will people often ask these questions when divestments are done? I remember when your colleague Aubin Hill did some work with sugar way back in the day. This question was a part of the debates. You know, the government control, if any, or government influence, not control, influence on Trans-Jamaica Highway after the divestment. What sort of relationship will exist after that? Minister?
So the government will still have influence on it, meaning it's a concession that's in place right now. The operators are there to ensure efficient operations of the highway, not just to collect tolls, but to ensure the highway is maintained properly and to international standards. So there is still that component in terms of that relationship between the government and the existing operators of the highway.
Yeah. Lastly, Angus Young, Trans Jamaica Highway, you've made the case for it being a strong investment, and you're strongly recommending that those who can get in on the act.
Absolutely. So this is a significant value proposition that the government of Jamaica is making to the people of Jamaica. And George, at a discount to when the deal was first announced, you're looking at probably an 8% discount and with a 5% dividend yield. I don't know, George, where you can get that double-digit type return from day one on something that is hinged on the Jamaican economy and that is infrastructure related.
Excellent. Thank you very much this morning for your perspective and your input, and I'm sure you're going to have investors doing what they ought to do. Minister, thank you as well for the perspective.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
CEO of NCB Capital Markets, Angus Young, and the Finance Minister, Favour Williams, talking about NROC's divestment, a public offering of the government's 20% stake in Trans Jamaican Highway Limited, TJH. They operate the Highway 2000 East-West corridor. The value, the divestment is, the stake is valued at 6.3 billion Jamaican, or 40 million US. The offer for sale will open for only 14 days. It will open March 4 and stay open for 14 days until March 18. Shares, $3.60 each. 1.75 billion is the upper limit, and they may subscribe an additional 750 million shares. And you heard Angus Young say the minimum purchase 1,000 units on the Jamaican side and 100,000 where US is concerned. Yeah, it looks a good deal on paper, and they brought out nobody lesser than the NCB Capital Markets boss to make the case for the strength of the investment.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:33.
Interested in buying into a new housing development scheme, hiring a real estate agent, or interested in a profession in real estate? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you need to contact the Real Estate Board. Everyone in the real estate industry, including developers, dealers, and salesmen, must register with the Real Estate Board. Know your facts. Contact us at 926-974829 at 24 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, or visit reb.gov.jm for more information.
The future is here with Infinity Cooperative Credit Union Jamaica Limited. Educom and Gateway have joined forces to bring you more convenience, innovation, and opportunities to achieve your dreams. Enjoy excellent service and seamless financial solutions, all designed for your lifestyle. Whether it's loans, savings, or insurance, we're here to make your financial journey effortless. Infinity Cooperative Credit Union Jamaica Limited, where possibilities are endless.
All Things Real Estate is brought to you by the Real Estate Board, Commission of Strata Corporations.
8:34, and we crack on with all things real estate, and today we continue to focus on the Real Estate Training Institute. And again, I'm being joined by the principal of the Real Estate Training Institute, Senior Director at the Real Estate Board, Dr. Tina Beale. Good morning, Dr. Beale.
Good morning, George. How are you?
I'm good. You good?
I'm good too.
Nice. All right. We're talking, last week I think we mentioned the abbreviation AML. And let's go there again. Tell my listeners what AML means and the importance of it.
Okay, so AML, simply put, it's anti-money laundering. And essentially what it's speaking to is the fact that real estate dealers, licensees of the board, they have been brought under the AML framework for the country. It's critical because what AML does is that it ensures that real estate dealers as designated non-financial institutions, that they're adhering to not only what Jamaica requires locally with respect to adhering with ensuring that we curtail anti-money laundering itself and proliferation financing, but also that we are adhering to international standards, which basically are coming from the Financial Action Task Force.
anecdotally people say that, a lot of money that is not in order, let's put it that way, finds itself or attempts to find itself in the real estate business. So is this a safeguard to ensure that the real estate business is no portal to wash money, so to speak?
Yes, essentially, that's what it is in a nutshell, to ensure that we're not participating in anything of that nature.
Right. And so what does something like this do for the industry in general? Is it just something to tick off to say, well, they do it internationally, so we have to do it? Or does it have tangible benefits for how we do business, the business of real estate in Jamaica?
Of course, it has tangible benefits. No, one of the things that persons need to recognize is that where money laundering is concerned, countries on a whole that have signed on to the Financial Action Task Force and its regulations basically are saying that we are ensuring that money laundering or terrorism financing or proliferation financing cannot negatively or adversely affect the global financial system. So when it is that we are saying in Jamaica that we are adhering to these rules and regulations, what it means that it's good to do business with us. It's you're safe and secure doing real estate with licensees of the real estate board. And then what that then points to is the fact that it helps us as a country too to adhere to the regulations of the UN Security Council. So we're talking about not only just in terms of money laundering per se as how we know it, but we are also saying that we are preventing any kind of provision or financial services that could basically contribute to weapons of mass destruction being basically distributed, created, or anything in relation to Jamaica.
Yeah, and you mentioned something earlier about the Financial Action Task Force. It's what you commonly report in the media, FATF, and how the grey list listing can damage a country's prospects, which is why, especially our finance ministry, very keen to do things to ensure that we stay far away from the grey list.
Yes, because when we're on the grey list, some persons might recall that we were on the grey list and we came off in June last year. When you're on the grey list, it essentially makes it difficult for overseas investors to do business with Jamaica. So countries in the Caribbean, there are two countries in the Caribbean that are on the grey list right now. So we have Venezuela and we have Haiti. Outside of that, the countries that are on the grey list, most are in Africa. So you have Angola, South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, to name a few.
Ivorian. So here's the thing, though. I always prefer that to Ivorian.
The Ivory Coast.
Ivorian. There you go. The real estate board and the practical solutions it gives to people to conform with AML requirements, guidelines. Tell me about that.
All right. So the principal legislation which governs AML is the Proceeds of Crime Act. And essentially what the Proceeds of Crime Act essentially is saying is that anybody who is under, whether you're a financial institution or a DNFI, that's a designated non-financial institution, you are to be monitored by the competent authority. So for the real estate industry, the competent authority is the real estate board. Now what that means is that the real estate board will provide guidelines to our dealers on how it is that they are to screen, how it is that they are to risk rate their clients, how it is that they are to take steps to ensure that money laundering does not infiltrate their business. And what it essentially wants dealers to do, or anybody who falls within the ambit of POCA or AML framework, that they are to assess the level of exposure that they have to money laundering. So all this risk rating about persons or customers who are high level, low level, medium level, they're essentially steps that you are taking to see how it is that you're going to carry out customer due diligence. And if it is that you need to do what's known as enhanced due diligence, depending on the level of risk exposure that's associated with a particular client. Now, cumulatively, all the different clients that you have will determine on an aggregate level what is the exposure of your business enterprise to money laundering. And then you're going to have to know what are the steps that you're going to have to take. How often it is that you're going to have to do what's known as AML audits. How it is that you're going to have to train your staff. How it is that when you're employing and hiring persons into your business, what are the steps that you're going to have to take to screen those persons to ensure that they're not adding to your level of exposure to AML.
Just hearing of it on the surface, I'm imagining AML as something that you deal with upfront. You're setting up the business, but once you are underway, Is it that the process is continuous so that
It has to be continuous. It's
yes,
a dynamic process.
because you know what people are thinking? You start legitimate and then you go rogue. And then you fly under the radar of the requirements. So you're saying no, it is with you right the way
It
through.
has to be continuous.
Yeah. Dealers and their compliance with the requirements of the AML regime. Do you find that you get that compliance and Jamaica, well, clearly your FATF rating would suggest
generally,
that we're,
generally, our dealers do comply. And the fact that we have come off the grey list overall, I know that there has been significant work that has been done, particularly by the BOJ and the Office of the Prime Contact Secretariat, where steps were taken across all the different entities that falls within the POCA to ensure that we come off the grey list.
Yeah. There's a nominated officers course. I want you to tell me about the details of the nominated course as best as you can, and of course when it will be offered.
All right. So going back to the POCA, POCA requires that every entity that falls within the AML framework has an officer so nominated to basically goes through the compliance of the entity, ensuring that it aligns with what are the requirements of the POCA legislation and the TPA legislations. So what that nominated officers course is basically doing is basically training dealers or the nominated officers that they have in their entities on how it is that they're going to be doing the risk rating.
Stick up in. Is the nominated officer somebody who's playing a dual role, or is their job exclusively as the nominated officer dealing with these things?
Okay, so here's the thing. You have entities where they're sole practitioners. And the truth is it can be difficult for a sole practitioner to go and hire someone to be the designated nominated officers. So you do have situations where it is the dealer plays a dual role. However, where the dealer plays a dual role, the POCA does require that the dealer has to be away from the audit function. So even if the dealer is carrying out the dual role, it basically means that somebody has to be hired independently to audit what it is that dealer is doing in the entity to ensure that ML exposure is basically being mitigated as best as possible. So what the course does is that it will train dealers on how to do risk rating, and it will also give them practical guidance on how it is that they're to apply customer due diligence as well as enhanced due diligence, and how it is that they're to create their overall compliance regime. Now what that essentially means is that the different policies that they're going to be putting in their respective entities and the procedures that they're going to set up. Now that's something that is nuanced to the dealership. So the course is basically giving them a guide, and then they're going to take that guide and then apply it within their respective entities.
Where's the course designed?
The course is designed by the Real Estate Training Institute.
Taking examples from?
Taking examples.
Or taking a stencil from where?
So essentially what we do is we look primarily to international literature. We look to the FATF guidance. We look to guidance from the POCA as well as the TPA as well as the UNSCREA. And we use a lot of case studies.
Well, you see, and the reason I asked that question because as you were answering and explaining the details of the course, I was imagining in a situation like CSEC or CAPE, where the exam come from Barbados. You know what I mean? We don't write CAPE or CSEC by ourselves, even though we have our own curriculum that we teach and follow. So you're saying that you take the best of things that exist.
Yes, and the fact is that the FATF from time to time it updates basically its practice literature.
Yes.
So the methodology that it has in place now was developed in 2022.
Yes.
And essentially that is the platform from which we are developing the course on how it is that they are to do the risk rating, or as FATF puts it, a risk-based approach to money laundering, to screen money laundering. So that's essentially what we're using to teach.
With things like these, there has to be a survey element. So there is a AML risk assessment survey for real estate dealers. That
before you even go to the survey, I think you had asked me in relation to the dates.
Yes.
So we're going to tell our dealers to
when will it be offered?
To earmark the following dates, May 5 to 9 and June 2 to 6.
5 to 9, that's 5 days. 5, 6, 7,
It's not
8,
5
9.
days, it's 2 days. In total 2 days, but we have to split it up because these are persons who are working.
Right.
So that window of May 5 to 9 as well as June 2 to 6 persons are to look out for additional information from us soon as to the schedule and how it is that they can register for the course.
And everything is on your landing page on your website?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
as usual.
The survey, and I was asking about the AML assessment survey and the administration of same.
Right. So in keeping with the requirements that the government have to adhere to, coming from FATF, periodically different agencies have to do what's known as a risk assessment, which feeds up into the national risk assessment on money laundering. More or less, what we would have done is send out this instrument to our stakeholders, the dealers. They are to complete it, and it basically is looking at how it is dealers would have been treating with their ML exposure over the period of 2020 to 2024. So looking at how they train, what's in their compliance regime, how it is that do they screen clients, how it is that they do the risk-based approach, how it is that they apply customer due diligence, when do they apply enhanced due diligence, how do they treat with customers that are corporate entities, trusts, as well as individuals. And of course, general profiling of their clients. So we want to know the type of clients that they have. And then what that does is that it helps us at the real estate board to know how we conduct audits on the dealers themselves. So the instruments were sent out, a primary one as well as a supplemental, and the dealers are required to submit by February 28th.
How much integrity is in all of these processes, to the extent that it is difficult for a one individual to compromise the rigidity with which the AML regime is being enforced? In other words, somebody who looks the other way or, accepts an inducement to do something different. It's a relevant question because people have these conceptions, some of them misconceptions about real estate and how easy it is with people with dirty money to get in and thrive. And I'm saying, no, but the rules don't allow that. And they say, you'd be surprised. So I ask you the question. People love talk from anecdotal perspective and make it look like it's facts. So I have to
that is true.
Yeah.
All right. So linking what you just said to the risk assessment survey. So when it is that it's basically a self-reporting mechanism. However, that self-reporting mechanism within any good instrument, there are questions that basically counter-check what it is that you would have put previously. In addition to that, that instrument is basically going to guide how we do inspection audits on the dealers. Now, if it is that you'd have told a lie about something for argument's sake, and our legislations, not only under the AML framework, but also the REDA, allows us to obtain information from dealers. Now, if it is that the dealers are not forthcoming with providing that information, we can institute criminal proceedings against them. If it is that we go and the information that we get from you is basically different from what you would have self-reported to us. What it essentially means is that we are going to tell you what it is that you need to do to fix. And then we're going to come back to you to ensure that the time frame in which we told you to fix it, that you actually fix it. So it's difficult for somebody to go around the system in that sense. They can't.
That's good news. All right. I think we're out of time. All things, not false estate, real estate. Yeah, the Real Estate Trading Institute, very important role it plays. And the principal of the entity and the senior director at the Real Estate Board, Dr. Tina Beale, has been talking about AML, anti-money laundering, and the very important part they play in ensuring that Jamaica stays far from that FATF grey list. I remember when the grey list designation was lifted, the finance minister then, Dr. Nigel Clark, issued a fast press release celebrating Jamaica off FATF because it is so important for us to.
It is very important for us to be off that list.
Off that list, and the Real Estate Board plays a critical role in ensuring that things happen in a manner to keep us far away from that designation. Dr. Beale, thank you this morning again.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. All right, we take a break. We'll come back. Birthdays.
All Things Real Estate was brought to you by the Real Estate Board, Commission of Strata Corporations.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is
8:50.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
That time of the morning when we tell some very special people happy birthday. Happy birthday greetings going out to our friends on Facebook. Howie Lewis, Deandra Wedderburn, Matthew Peart. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to Bubblegum. Hey to you, Bubblegum.
Valentine's and the greetings.
That would be something. But happy birthday to you, Bubblegum, here on Facebook. Crystal Phillips, it's your birthday as well. Happy birthday to you, Crystal. It's also the birthday of Jennifer Brown. Happy birthday to you, Jennifer Brown, from your loving husband, Norman Brown, wishing for you a wonderful day. It's also the birthday of Faye Hutchinson. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, and happy birthday. She's a very good friend of Clifton.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Very, very, very top lady.
Yes. Happy birthday to you from your hubby, Gordon Hutchinson, your son, Andre, your daughter-in-law, Fiona, and your grandchildren, Noah and Leah. And happy birthday greetings also coming from Veronica. So, happy birthday to you, Faye. Wishing for you a great, great day. Who else is celebrating a birthday today? Hopping on over to the YouTube chat to see if there are any birthdays over here. If you're celebrating your birthday today, do let us know.
You did the congratulations to Alexis?
Oh, no. I did not touch that one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they're saying congratulations to Alexis Getton for being the successful candidate for head girl. Yeah, you should have told us which school. They said that her presentation was flawless and that they're sure your leadership qualities will inspire your peers. Blessings always from Mrs. B. King, who is Mrs. B? I should know. Alexis, no? Auntie Barbara? Mrs. Brahma. Oh, Mrs. Brahma. Oh, yeah, Mrs. Brahma. So Mrs. Brahma is which school? Alexis get the head girl for. They didn't even tell us, Mrs. Brahma, man. Yeah? So, them say Alexis' presentation was just flawless. Yeah? I like that, and I like when you have to make a speech for the things. Yeah, unlike some of us when they just give you the things them.
Yeah.
I said congratulations. Oh, get that. Well, listen. No. May I tell you why? No. Hold on. Yeah, Alexis Getton. Congratulations, head girl, flawless presentation. Mrs. Brahma says you are an inspiration. Yeah, and she wants you to continue in the same vein.
Happy birthday greetings also going out to Akeem, the nephew of Paula Barnes. So Paula is sending you happy birthday greetings, Akeem, wishing for you a great day. Pamela Turner sending happy birthday greetings to, let's see. So Pamela is sending happy birthday greetings to her grandma. So happy birthday greetings to your grandma, Pamela, and she's saying to you, love you loads.
I know that I'll be okay. Cross my heart every day. I live, I pray, and I know she'll come my way. Night and day, for this woman I pray. I wanna be loved, not for who you think I am, not what you want.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
You don't know. Pounds a little sugar no pan. You not sleep with trouble no man. Oh, said I had a close one yesterday. Jah put an angel over me. Be strong. Hold up for meditation. One day things must get better. Don't you go down. Keep your head above the water. Say one day things must get better. Be strong. And I say, hold up for meditation. One day things must get better. Don't you go down. Keep your head above the water. One day things must get better. The rich is wise in his own conceit, but the fool with overstanding searcheth him out. Poor man mourn the rich, riches increase. I said, be not grieved, riches are not forever. Envy not the oppressor, choose none of his ways. Be not wise in thine own eyes, only Jah you must praise. Strive not with a man without a cause. If he have done you no harm, let bygone be bygone.
Said I had a close one yesterday. Jah put an angel over me. Be strong, and I say, well, a firm meditation. One day things must get better. Don't you go down, keep your head above that water. One day things must get better. Be strong, and I say, well, a firm meditation. One day things must get better. Don't you go down, keep your head above the water. Say, one day things must get. This 9 to 5 is a joke compared to the pressure. The minister said the economy is getting better, misleading the people. The mass still suffer.
Seeing another birthday here. Lorna Pinnock sending birthday greetings to what is this? Constantia Shelton, aka Teach, from all of us in the incredible WhatsApp group. So happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a great day. Those are all the birthdays. Seems so. So if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well.
Are we that? Are we that?
Yeah, that's about it. So that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide This Morning, NTM. Thanks so much to our technical operator, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McCrae-Smith. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana.
And I'm going to tell you about Blue Blows. Don't forget it. You're forgetting
Yes, I forgot
we don't have the time.
yesterday.
We don't have the time.
Tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow.
Whenever.
You've just heard Nationwide This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Let bygone be bygone.